morning.
Can you guys hear me at home now?
Yes,
All right. And I can hear you. So good morning.
good morning.
I'm trying to figure out the second. The webcam is not, there it is. There we go.
Yep.
Now the webcam, now you see me from the front.
Yep.
There you go. So we reworked, we've been here since 8, reworking the whole setup, and I think we got it set up in such a way that it's gonna work finally. But I'm
Good.
still connecting with my laptop so that I can show you the different setups. So we have a new, hi, Lydia, we have a new student in class today. And hold on a second, maybe she doesn't know yet. This is a hybrid high flex class where half the people or the majority of people are at home. And 5 people were here the other day. Right now there's 4 of you, but hopefully they'll keep. What's that? Thank you. I need to actually, I forgot to ask you, give me a second, you guys. Okay, I'm setting up my laptop, you guys, because I thought I might not need to use it, but I still don't have the right password, so I do need to use it. Here we go. Stay as co-host.
Recording in progress.
And without audio and start video. There we go. I'm not sure that we need the second video. I'm going to turn the second video off. Now we have the top one working. All right. So since you're all far from me right now, I'll be taking my mask off for a bit. If you want me to approach you with a mask, let me know. Remind me as I approach you if you feel uncomfortable and you want me to be wearing a mask. Let me turn the light off. So Radine, this class is half and half. No, it's mostly online and a few people in person, which is the point that I was explaining how there's two CRNs for it. So let me just tell everyone who's at home. If you were signed up originally in this class when it first got created, which is many of you guys that got set up that way, there was just one CRN. But now for the same class, there's 2 CRNs, and you sign up for supposedly one for being on Zoom and one for being at home. But since it's divided in 12 people each for 24 people total, and I have many more of you online, it doesn't matter at this point which one you sign up for, but you need, if one says full, the other one is still not full. You know what I mean? So, so for MAC level 1 and 2, same thing. And the email that I sent you the other day, I showed you the CRN that still had space, and it's a CRN for the in-person classes, but you don't have to come in person. But you got to sign up to the class, one or the other. You know what I mean? and you can still choose to be at home or to be in person. All right, so I'm looking at your guys' sign-ins. Everyone, please sign in the chat. And I am seeing a question about malware. Okay, Julie, remember at some point today might be a good point to ask about that. So can you ask, but maybe not right now.
Yeah,
So letting me know you're interested, then depending on what I'm talking about, remind me and I'll try to bring it into that conversation.
yeah,
Okay,
I got a notice. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, this is system, so I really can't use it right now. So someone here connected to Zoom, I think it's you. We need to, sign in. Actually, we need to open your email. So everyone here at home, you need to go to your email, and start the class. And, pick up your email from the morning. And I'll show you that video, I'll show you that next time. Now say aloud. Let me take your sound off because it's
Always, am I do
always over here to this thing.
Oh,
Go
to
the
mute.
And say leave. There we go. Okay, so that way you don't have to deal with that sound. And sound is off, so perfect. Okay. Get you without sound. I'll let you in first. Okay, so I still have to get the people who are in person to, they're on a computer that's not theirs, and to get their email to then sign out, to sign into Zoom. So we need to get that set up a little bit better, but we're getting there. Getting that right now for the first time. I actually have the computer set up the right way so that when I talk to the class and to you guys, my face is kind of pointing in the right direction. Whereas the other day I had it all over the place. So, you know, we're getting there. Now, I need to hide this. All right.
Gonna get up early to put on makeup. It's very shocking.
No, that's the and I still have someone else on. You are the second one on sound. So go over here and there. Here, but most important, you can see the roof. I'll be putting it out. Okay.
Do you come home with me?
All right, so hi everyone who's at home and hi everyone who's here. Thank you for showing me the clear class. We'll show this later to Regine so she knows what she needs to do, but for now, that's good. So yeah, I was here at 8 with the tech people and we worked everything in and out, and there's some things that now I can do, like the Zoom is working, which it wasn't working last week. But there's still things I can't do, like changing the system preferences here that I need to be able to show you. I can't show. So I still have my old laptop here connected. And so if you see me, the second connection, that's my laptop. And whenever necessary, I'll be demoing with that one for the stuff that I can't. And then I have my iPhone connected and my iPad connected. So remember to go grab all your stuff, all your devices, not your stuff, and bring them forward so that we can use them when necessary. Now, you guys had people coming in. We had trying to remember if I gave it to you as homework. When I'm saying we had homework, but I told you guys the homework before had been to find out what your system preference, your operating system was. And here we go. I need to move this over to the side so that I can have some space to demo. And sorry, I need to move my other computer. Give me a second. Yes, I just need to close some stuff here so that I can be in front of you guys. Okay, so you guys had to know your Apple IDs. For this class, I told you guys some passwords that you just need to know. You need to be in charge of your stuff and know them. But for the class per se, you had to know your Apple ID password. Of course, your pipeline username and password, which that's to be able to access all the class files, in this case, to even access the computer and stuff like that. So, but you'll get that in a minute. Your Apple ID and password. And then I asked you to also know your emails, ID and password. So now, then I told you should always know yours, like financial stuff and all that kind of stuff, but we won't be using any of that. So it's not like you, and you never need to tell me your password. I will never ask you for your password, me, myself, which is specifically, and nor should anyone in school ever say, give me your password. So if you ever get any request from school of anyone asking your password, it's spam. It's, you know, no one should ever ask you your password for anything. Even when you any email that asks you for any kind of password, you guys just look at it with complete disbelief and go, something's wrong here, especially if it's financial or something. So now what I want you guys to know, to show me with your emojis, with your reactions, with the little smiley face down there, give me a yes if you have your Apple ID. I'm going to put it in the chat, what I request you to say yes to. So your Apple ID, password. So I need you to have your Apple ID password. Then I need you to have your email account password. And of course, I'm going to just make the assumption you know your pipeline password, because I believe we've already been to that. So those are the two. Now, some of you have more than one email account or not, but you all have one principal email account. If you have those two and you know them, give me a yes. If you forgot to do it and you don't have it, that's not so much an issue because you can do it by Wednesday. But if you tried and couldn't find it, couldn't figure it out, then give me a no, okay, which is the red X. All right. Oh, and I'm not. Uh-oh. Sorry, I just noticed that I was still set up like the other day where the people in class couldn't see you guys. And I noticed when Radine was looking up at the ceiling, I'm like, wait, you should be seeing the people. Sorry, I didn't have you guys in the right screen. So now we can all see each other. So if you can see the class, will let me introduce you to, there we go. Here's our class. And there's Radine, say hi. She's new to class today. There's Maria, there's Linda, and there's Rod, and Milton is not here today, hopefully. When anyone is missing, I always think, I hope they're not sick. I hope that's never, I have to stop. And you want to go where Leon is, yeah, right? So let me stop for a second.
As long as it's not Florida.
As I was gonna say, yeah. Yeah, anyway, so one other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that here in our classroom, everyone is using right now the regular Mac, where's the microphone? The regular PC mice. This is the mice that are connected to people's computers here. At home, you guys will either have one of those, like a regular PC mouse that you just bought a mouse anywhere and you connected it, which has some limitations with the Mac. Or if you have a desktop, you might have a Magic Mouse, which is this one, which is the one that if you buy a desktop computer, now computers come with this one, and it's called the Magic Mouse. And as you can see, it has no cable, it's Bluetooth. Or you might have a laptop where you could have connected a mouse to it, and I highly recommend doing that. Or you could have like a little pad on your laptop where you move your fingers on it. And here we have this as a replacement so that I can demo how to do the movement. So when I say things like right click or click and drag or stuff like that, you need to be able to do them with whatever material you have to move the mouse around. Now, if the touchpad is easy for you, that's good. If it's hard for you, consider buying a mouse. And these guys, the Magic Mouse, the Mac mouse, which if you buy a laptop, doesn't come with a laptop. So you have to buy it separately. And they are about 80-ish dollars, I would say. I haven't looked at the price for a while, but that's what they tend to be.
Like $79.
79 or something like that. Or you can buy a regular any old mouse for, $20, but it has a few limitations in that it does what it does on a PC. The Mac mouse, the Magic Mouse does more. Doesn't mean that it's impossible to use a regular, cheap mouse. But if you're gonna spend some money on a better mouse, spend money on a Mac mouse. Because then it'll let you do more stuff. So depending on what you have over there, I'll be asking you when you're trying to do click and drag or right click or that kind of stuff, I'll be asking you, do you have a touchpad on a laptop, or do you have a mouse? Like what's your situation at home, so that I can know how to help you, right? So you tell me, well, I don't know how to do this or that, but I'll need to know what you've got going. All right. So now I actually need to put a mouse on my, where did it go? Oh, they took it away. How strange. I had a mouse that I was using for my laptop that they took away. I had all the tech people out today. I spent an hour on this, but somehow they took the mouse that I've been using for my laptop away. Okay, there's another one. I'll grab it later. All right. So now I'm looking at you guys who answered, and everyone seems to have said yes. There's a second, Carol, that's your second Amex. So the first one said yes. Leon, do you have all your passwords? I didn't get a yes or a no from you. And how about here? Did you guys get your email account passwords and your Apple ID passwords? Rod, you know them? Okay. No, well, you didn't know, you're here today, but do you know your Apple ID password? No. And your email? Okay. So that's something that I had, I have some handouts for trying to figure them out and stuff like that. So I'll help you catch up with where all that material goes. Okay. Yeah. So, and that's because we're going to try to connect, to show you how to connect all your accounts and stuff like that. Now, the one thing that happened today with the tech people is that they can't still give me access to manipulate the account. So I'll be doing that on this other computer, but the people who are here in the room won't be able to do it yet. So I'm gonna hold off and see if they fix that for everyone. And I need to get to a different set of tech people. Today I had the tech people that manipulates the multimedia. And then I know there's like 5 different departments handling this lab, and I'm trying to figure out who helps with what. So today I got the Zoom situation to work, but the Apple ID situation is still not handled. So today I'm going to approach a couple of different issues with the computer, and we're going to hold off on that. So if you have any questions, so just so that I can make sure that the people who are here in person can do the same thing that you guys can do at home. So I'm going to wait another day for that. But thank you for getting your passwords, for getting it all set up. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and change this screen, and I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share my desktop. There we go. And let's move this out of the way. All right. So now I am sharing my basic computer desktop. Now, one thing I want you guys to know, I'm noticing that some of the setups aren't so basic. So hold on, I need to go back to the, that's interesting. That is doing that because of Zoom. All right. So I am going to clear your feedback, and I need to, there we go. In your feedback, and I need to see you guys in this computer. I'm just readjusting how I see everyone. There we go. Now you guys, if you want to see the class at this point, when I'm sharing my screen, you can see them on the little bits of Zoom that you have there. Okay. And you can make it bigger while we're talking to them if you want to see them responding, but if not, you can have it sideways like that so that your computer's available. Now what you are seeing is my screen. So you need to hit escape. Okay, so Linda, and I'll hit your escape key, because this screen is the screen I'm sharing, yeah, and then I put in now visitor. Because you mainly need this in order to see the people, but you don't need it so much to work with, like, you don't necessarily need to have.
Mhm. Don't forget to call Stolberg and your doctor. And Doctor,
Okay, and have yourself set up
Okay.
again, so that out of the way. Okay, great. All right, so now that everyone here is set up, because I'm having them on Zoom, even though they're watching you guys, so that they can be part of the class. Now, is everyone's name set up? Like, Owen, I see your name there, but last name Becky, I'm gonna add your last name to yours too. Can everyone look at the name that they're showing? And make sure you have your last name set up so that later for, when I was trying to do attendance, there was still a few names the other day that were not set up with first and last name, and I had to look at the roster, and I think I kind of got them. I see Josie there. Josie, what's your? Is that Josephine or? Who's Josie?
Yeah, good person.
But she's not here today. She's online.
Yeah, she's.
Yes, I am here.
Okay, so you are, Josie, you were in person the other day, right?
Yes, and the last name, I was gonna try and do it right now and put it in. I had it on the screen. I guess I go to rename.
Yes, please go to rename and put your last name. Okay, great. And just so you know, you're going, because I had switched your roster to have you in person, and it's okay if you choose to do one or the other, but just for me to know, because then I'll switch the roster. Are you going to be attending online in general? Or in
Yes,
person in
please.
general?
Online now. Thank you.
Okay, great. Just so that I'm aware, and I'll change the roster again. Okay. All right. So here we go. I'm sharing the screen with you. And if you guys might notice, my doc kind of appears and disappears. And at home, you might have your doc appearing or disappearing. Now your doc is this portion down here, the area that holds all your icons. And if you guys open your iPads or your phones, what you'll discover is that on those devices, it's equivalent to your main screen. That thing that when you open your iPad or your iPhone, you just see little icons floating all over the place, right? With your apps. So the dock here is what holds your apps. Your apps are the same, is a short name for applications, or software. These are all words that mean exactly the same thing, right? So it's the things that allow you to do something with your computer. So what I mean by that is, and let me just share really quickly. I mean, this you don't need to know. When you open your phone, you see lots of little apps and they look pretty similar. And if you actually have these apps on your phone, when you buy your phones or your laptop or your Macs, your iPads, they come with these apps. So they come with except for this Finder icon, doesn't exist on the phone. But if you actually look for all these different apps over here, and in fact, I'm going to take that one out. You have the Safari, the messages, the mail, they all look pretty much identical. But the only one that has a different name is the system preferences. Now, if you don't find any of these on your pads or phones, if you don't find them, right? Because these are the default ones that get shown, then how do you find them on your phone? So I'm going to share my phone right now. Here we go. So here's my phone. And you guys, to see my phone, you have to look on your screen, okay? Oh, well, and actually it's sharing from this one right now. That's fine, good. So, so these little apps that I have here in this phone are the ones that come with a Mac, with the iPhone when you just buy an iPhone, and they don't, you might not be using them, but they're very similar to the ones that are down on your computer. So the one that I want you all to know how to find is this one, the settings one. Okay, and look at what happens if I click and hold for a little while. Okay, so I'm going to click and hold it down. And this is kind of slightly dangerous because when you click and hold, you get this little setting, and the same thing happens with your iPad, and I can't show you two at the same time, so I have to show you one or the other. When you click and hold it tight, you get this little like menu, and that click and hold on a computer is a right click. Okay, when you get this little sub menu, it's telling you things about, you know, quick things that you can access from the system preferences, or in this case from the settings. So it's in order to access stuff quickly from that app. So the system preferences has many things in it, and that we began to explore it last week. We're going to keep exploring it. But these 4 things are the ones that people most want to see. They want to see their batteries, they want to see their, you know, if their data is on, if the Wi-Fi is on, is Bluetooth on, that kind of stuff. So this is kind of like a little quick access. Is everyone able to do that at home? You guys have your phones or if you just click and hold, you see what I mean?
Yes.
Where you get this little sub menu. The only one you should never do is click on the top red one, remove app. Don't do that. Now, when you click away, another thing that happens when you click and hold, sometimes if you keep clipping and holding, once you let go, you get all these little jiggly icons. If you get to this mode of jiggly icons, be very careful, because that little circle on the top left of each icon now is a minus, which is equivalent to remove your app. So if you were to now click on any of these, you lose that app, right? Not that you can't download it again, and it'll come back with all your information, but you would have to go and download it. So be very careful when things are jiggling and go, ah, and disappear. So if you waited a little bit long enough, they do that, but it's just holding for a long time. That's when they appear. So just try to find some neutral area of your screen. In this case, I have some extra space here to click right there with my finger one more time. And then those little jiggly things disappear. Another way you can make them disappear is by just turn the phone off for a second, you know, and then when you turn it on again, then they're gone, right? So that might be the best way, because you can just like grab that little button on the side and make it turn off. But when it's in this mode of jiggly, just don't touch anything, because it's usually because you've long pressed on something that you shouldn't have pressed. So I find the easiest way to get out of this is to click on one of the little buttons on the side of the phone, the on and off button, not just a quick click to turn the screen off. And then when you turn it on again, they're not jiggly anymore. So be careful, because a lot of people then go, I don't have the app, and it's by mistake. They were touching things and they disappeared by mistake. Okay.
Deanna,
Yeah.
what are the little dots on the bottom?
So
You've got
those
2 dots?
2 dots I have down at the bottom tells me that I have more screens of icons. So if I grab my finger here and push to the left, boink, then I see more
Gotcha.
apps. And if I try to keep pushing, then I see the app library.
Mm.
So now I'm going to
Thank
push to the right and so I'm pushing to the right. And then, so these are all the apps that I have. In my other phone, I have like 5 of these pages. I have a lot of apps on them, and this one I only have 2. So some of you might have 2 or 3 or 4 dots there. Each one of these dots represents one of these screens. Okay. So now
Okay.
I move it to the right and I'm seeing more apps. And then if I move it one past how many I have, you should all be getting to the app library. So keep pushing to the right. And this is the same, by the way, whenever I demo my phone, it's the same for the iPad. It's identical. Because remember that what we're doing here is we are using, what's the operating system for these devices? Who remembers?
iOS,
For the handheld
iOS,
devices. Thank you, Annette. Yes. This is the Mac iOS, which is the internet, I guess, operating system. Okay. Versus the on the computers, which could be desktops or laptops, it's just called Mac OS. Okay. So that's the names that we're giving it. Now, notice that when you guys sign up to the level 1 and level 2 class, it says the name of the class is Introduction to the Mac OS X level 1 and OS X level 2. That X used to stand for 10. We had Mac OS X for like 20 years, but then we switched to this new OS and it's just called Mac OS. So those names are old. There's no X after the name of the OS anymore. That's all. But never mind. The class name hasn't been updated. But because we are past the number 10, we're at number 12 now of OSs. Okay, so that's why. All right. All right, so these apps that you see here, so this is the third page of my screen, so to say, like I went past and past, and I'm in what says app library. So you can do a search here, and every app that you have has been kind of grouped by the computer in, you know, in a random kind of way. It says utilities or creativity or productivity. These are things that your computer has, your phone has grouped them in systems. But if you're looking for something up there at the top, so put your finger up at the top where it says app library, click on that. And if you haven't been able to find your settings, this would be where you type settings, and then the app for settings pops up. Okay, so what if you're looking, I'm going to click on that little X up there, and I'm going to look for my I don't know, let me look for my reminders. And so I go REM, and there it comes up. See, reminders. You got that? So that's a way to search for apps that, now you might have gone, oh, I've never used my reminders. That doesn't mean your phone doesn't have it or your iPad doesn't have it. These are for apps that come. So now see that little X over here? I'm going to go ahead and click on that X to clean that search. And then all of these appear in alphabetical order when I'm searching for stuff. But if I say cancel, it's back to showing them to me in this little grouped mode. So here's where you can find anything that you don't know where to find. But let me show you another thing. I'm going to back up to the home screen, so to say, the main one. And another way to do the search is put your finger in the middle, just here, and not one app in particular, but in some neutral area, and just click and like pull down. And when you pull down, up there on the top, you see a search again, right? So it's just a little, just put your finger in the middle and pull down, and there it says search. So now you can look for the reminders that way. You go remind, and then it comes up, right? So this is the two ways to search your phone. Okay, and so then you click on reminders, and since I haven't used it yet, it's telling me don't use or all that kind of stuff. But and then to get rid of it, you kind of swipe from the bottom up, and you just kind of don't, you just kind of swipe from the top down, and then all of your open apps appear. So some of you guys have like 250 open apps. So let me show you again how we do this. When you have an app on your screen and you want to not have a ton of apps open, and depending on your phone, if it's beginning to run slow or if you don't have space, put your finger at the very, very bottom here and just kind of swipe upwards. And when you do that, you see like a deck of cards. You can like go back and forth on all of your apps. So everyone try that on your phones and on your iPads. It's exactly the same thing to see how to, so you can swipe up from the bottom, and let me share with you guys how this looks like on an iPad. So I'm going to reshare. And oh, I have my iPad. Hold on. Need my stuff, so I need to. I'm going to reshare my. Hold on. I'm going to stop my share and see if I can. Is my iPad connected? Yeah, it's not finding my iPad, so hold on. Okay. I hear you, Jim. Zoom sign-in number doesn't work. So Jim, can you talk to me for a second? When do you check your email? Because every morning I sent an email with a link that if you click on it, that should just get you in. I'm not sure what you mean by the sign-in number that doesn't work. Can you hear me, Jim? Your sound is off. So if you're talking, I can't hear you, just so you know. I can't. Okay, my iPad is it's only wanting to share my phone. I can't do my phone and my iPad at the same time. All right, well.
As though they might have wandered off while the phone was ringing. Hi, mamas. Brianna says. So upbeat, Elizabeth cringes, hating the news she is
Oh,
about to
God.
deliver.
Who's speaking?
Where are the
Who has
kids?
sound down?
We sent them off on a little hike with Perry and John. So
Okay,
they can
I'm
work
trying
up
to
an
figure out who's
appetite before
speaking.
dinner. Tabitha says.
Are people speaking behind you, Jim? No, someone has their sound on where there's some cute speaking, but turn your sounds off because I don't know who it is. So there you are, Jim. So are you getting the emails every morning where you click on the link to sign into class? Your sound is off, Jim, so I can't hear you. By the way, what I'm sharing right now while I'm waiting for Zoom, for him is my iPad. And so over here, this is an iPad. And if I put my finger in the bottom of the iPad and pull up, then these are all the different apps that I have open on my iPad, see? So this is what it looks like on an iPad to see all my open apps. Now, last week I showed you what it looks like on a computer to have open apps, but this is a whole bunch of open apps. And if I don't want them open, then I can close them from here, or I can click on them to see them. So I can go ahead and click on this one to start to see, I don't know, notes, for example. I'll click on that and then I'm seeing notes. And I'll pull up again. So then I'll pull up until I see all the other ones, and I switch to photos, right? And then I pull up from the bottom and I switch to another app that's already open, right? So that's how you would do it on an iPad. So it's all very similar. You put your finger on the bottom and you pull up. So for whom is that not working? On the iPads or iPhones, to kind of pull your finger up and flip through all of your different, stop my share and then pull up now my phone. It doesn't give me the option of phone or iPad. It only wants to give me one or the other. I need to disconnect it then. Okay. Okay, but I'm trying to do something that it's not letting me do. I can't show you phone and iPad one after the other. It has me disconnect so that I can show one or the other. Okay, so I can only show the phone, so I'm showing the phone. All right, so give me yeses or nos, everyone. If you can or not see what I am sharing, I'm gonna now go ahead and share my desktop with you guys. And down here in this dock is where we see the apps that we have on our computer that need to be, that are available. Now, if you want to see things on your computer as if this were the pad or the iPhone, the first on the far left icon here is the launch pad. If you see the launch pad and you click on it, that's the equivalent screen for the Mac. Okay. So my laptop is not charging. And I'm gonna need it to demo stuff, but it's not charging. I think it's charging now. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm running into trouble because I need my laptop to be able to show you my other stuff. My laptop has a very old cable and it doesn't charge well. I was here today talking with. Oh, sorry, guys. I was talking to the people how I need them to buy me a laptop because mine is very old and it's not charging anymore. I don't know, guys. There it is.
Laptop cable or iPad cable?
Now, I was trying to show you guys my laptop, but I'm getting disconnected because the power wasn't working. Now it's working. It's working. No, the laptop, but it's working now. So, okay. So, so you guys on the computer, this is equivalent, okay? The launch pad. Now, so you guys, if you don't have this icon called launch pad there, so see, I'm clicking on the launch pad and I'm seeing all my apps. If you don't have the launch pad icon and you want to do a search on your computer, which is what we just did on the phone on the iPad, then you can go up here to the top right, and you see this menu up here at the top, there's a little, how do you call this? A magnifying glass on the very top right. So you click on that magnifying glass and this is the Spotlight search. Okay, so the Spotlight search is the search for a Mac computer, for the entire OS, for the entire Finder. So here's where you can write Launchpad, right? And as soon as you write launch, the Launchpad app appears. So this is equivalent to the phone and to the iPhone, right? So everyone here, just go and try your Spotlight. And then when you find it, you click on the Launchpad and that's what opens up, okay? Now, you can switch to the left or to the right because again, see, I have little 3 dots down there and it's telling me all the apps that I have. So these are all the apps that I have. Okay, so this is the equivalent way. Now, I don't know that you have these many apps because I don't know what's installed or not in your computer, but this is what we have installed on this computer. All right, and then you hit the escape key or you click again on the Launchpad icon and it disconnects. There's one more icon on your computers, which if you look at your keyboards, at the top of your keyboards, there's the escape key, and then there's like little suns and different shapes. And look at the little key that says F4, like on your keyboards. The key that says F4 has lots of little actually squares on it. And when you click on that, that's a shortcut to the Launchpad again. Okay, so everyone go to your keyboard now. And now I'm talking computer keyboard, Rob. So look at your computer keyboard. And maybe here, now here's up here. This is the keyboard that I'm talking about. And see this key? Try it again. Do it slow, okay? Do that up again. There you go. Okay, so you were letting go, and now you have that. So let me show you that again. Do it one more time. There you go. Now start going back like that. Sideways. Like start and go back and forth on all the apps right here. Is that working for you, Radine? The finger up. Okay. No, that's actually different. Go ahead, click on that. Hold on. Oh, your phone is a little bit older and no, it's okay, but there's a way. So that one you just you double it. There you go. Okay, there we go. So for I believe from iPhone 8 and older, the pulling up on the bottom of the screen doesn't work and you have to double click on the button. So if you have a button on the bottom of your screen still, so those of you at home who have a button on your screen, you double click it quickly and that gives you the sliding apps. Okay, it's weird because I'm trying to, if something doesn't work for you, I need you guys to say that. So on the iPad, if you have a button too, my iPad has a button, then again, it's double click on it quickly, tick, tick, and then you get the sliding apps. 2 people here couldn't do it and we only have 4. So I have to assume that someone at home wasn't able to do that. The whole like make your apps slide sideways. So can you tell me if it didn't work? Give me a no. I'm going to clear your feedback. Give me a no if you need a hand with this. I'm going to tell you why this matters. I'm going to go back to the phone. I know I'm going back from the phone and from the desktop a lot. I'm just trying to show you equivalencies. But let me tell you why it might matter to do this. Because if you have tons of apps open, I'm going to do that again. Then this is how you close them. You go, oh, I didn't need that one. And you put your finger on the one you don't need and you pull up and let go. And that closes it. Or you pull up the one that you don't need and you let go. So you put your finger on the one you don't need and you pull up and you let go. So this is closing those apps. Now I'm left with only 3 apps that are open. See what I mean? So I click and I pull up. That's how you close them. Now I'm left with 3. I'm gonna pull up, and then I'm gonna pull up, and I'm left with only one app, which is the settings app. It's the only one that's open. It's the only way you can see how many apps you have open. So pulling up from the bottom, or for an older phone, double clicking. So that is what I taught you how to do last week here on the Mac. So on the Mac, and now back to the Mac, I taught you how to look at those little dots that were underneath the icons, and then you would do a right click and close them if they were open. Now mine are all closed right now, but if I open this one up, there it is. There's that dot. That means that this one's open. I can right click and say quit, right? So what I want to make sure is that on your computers, you have all your different apps closed, and that on your phones and your iPads, look and see, maybe it's an app you used 10 months ago and you're like, why is this open? Because once you open them, they stay open until you close them. So you might want to close anything that you're not using at the time. You don't need to do it all the time, but you know, at least maybe once a week, close all the apps that are sitting there unused. They do use a lot of your phone's power. When you're trying to connect to something on your phone and it's slow, especially the older your phone is, the better it is to have apps closed up. Okay. Now, no one's giving me a no, so I'm going to assume that you all have been able to connect to your, you know, slide your apps around on both of these. And have you all found your Launchpad button, F4? Yeah. Now, and then being able to slide back and forth. Now, this back and forth is an example of how with my mouse, Magic Mouse, I can slide back and forth on the Magic Mouse to the sides. But with the regular mouse, I can't go sideways. So I have to go and click on these little dots to go to the other pages. Okay, so with a Magic Mouse, you can go sideways. Okay, with a finger, go sideways to scroll sideways, or with a touchpad, you can go sideways. Okay, that one you have to put 2 fingers down on the touchpad to go sideways. But if you have a PC mouse, then you have to click on that little dot down here and click on that little dot, these little dots down there, in order to move sideways, okay? To see all the different screens, because the regular PC mouse doesn't do the sideways movement. Okay, has everyone been able, give me a no if it hasn't worked for you, give me a yes if you're all comfortable. Julie says you don't have a key that says F4.
Right.
That's a good.
I have something that says FN on the,
I managed to close them all on my phone, but so just to the right.
So this is just seeing them, but it doesn't mean that they are, so if you click on it and just swipe up,
Swipe
you
up.
have closed it.
Thank you.
Okay, so the question was on the iPad right now. She was showing her iPad and asking me all those that are open. You swipe up on the iPad as well to get them to close. Okay, you just swipe up.
If we're on this, how do we get out of this to go to the?
All right, so the question that Rod has, if you're in the Launchpad on the computer, how do you get out? A, you get out by hitting the escape key, or B, by clicking again on the Launchpad icon. So click on it on and off, or if it's on, the escape key also turns it off. Okay. Now, someone here, Julie just said she does not have an F4 key. Is that the situation for anyone else?
Yes, I
You
don't
guys
have one either.
The strip, what's it called?
I have the strip. I have an FN on the lower left side of my MacBook Pro. Do I hit that and then a 4?
Right, so then let me show you. Let me see if I can disconnect this and show you what the key is. See, it's hard, this doesn't focus, but here's my keys from the left. Escape, and then you have the brightness. And you guys, let me move you guys over so that.
No,
hold on, I'm
Not
gonna
on the
stop-
new Macs.
I'm gonna stop my share so that you guys can all see what I'm showing you now better. So here I am. On the left, you have the escape key right there. Then you have, it's not focusing well. Give it a chance to focus.
Mine is very different.
It's focusing.
Not on the new Macs.
And then this is the one that I need you to find, the one that has these little 6 squares.
Oh.
Now, when you guys have this, so when I click on that, it pulls up my thing. Now, I understand that those of you who have I don't remember the name of it, that strip thing.
Toolbar?
No, some laptops have, what's the name of that? God, it has a name, you know, the
Yeah,
Power
I don't know what it is.
strip, they
but I
called
know.
it.
Function bar?
No, some laptops come
Oh.
with like a digital, they did them for a while. I don't know the name. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it's got like a bar on top that you touch and it's contextual. So you need to be on the Finder app. And then up on top of the Finder app, you would see the equivalent buttons as to what used to be buttons. That whole button is missing, right? That whole row
Okay.
of buttons is missing.
Yes, okay.
So, so then sorry. All right. So Annette says, no, you can't find it either.
No, my no referred to the fact that I was having a really hard time getting that slider thing to work.
Okay,
But finally it worked, but it took about 25 tries of
Okay.
sliding up.
all right. So
To get in there.
let's see.
Huh.
Okay. So, Julie, were you able to do it with the FN?
I didn't want to try it. Let me try it now.
Try it with the FN.
No, it didn't.
Who
do
else
anything.
has one of those laptops that for the life of me, I can't remember the name of that, like touch button strip on top?
I do.
Function bar?
What's
The-
that?
The 2019s and above have them, I think.
Say that again?
I think the 2019s and above have them. I have, mine's the 2019.
Yeah, there's a couple of years that they were making them. I don't know. I think they stopped making them because people weren't very happy with them. But in that case, and I've only had once or twice one of those under me, so I don't 100% know how to use it. But I know that if you're in the app, so if you're in the Finder app, then that strip should be showing you the equivalent kind of shortcuts that we would have on those buttons, but maybe it's not the way it goes. But anyway, I personally don't use, I'm gonna say, I'm not too worried if you don't have it because I personally don't use the Launchpad on the computer. Because in the end, that's why we have the dock, which is the first thing I began to show you, right? So I'm gonna share my screen again and go back to this one here. And we can put on the dock the apps that we use the most. We don't need all our 55 or 500 apps that we use. What we need to do is have the dock have only the apps that we actually want, right? So the same thing with your phone and your home screen. You don't need to live with the apps that come. You can choose to put in the first screen all the apps that you use daily. Maybe you check email daily, maybe you check the weather daily, maybe you check the news daily. I don't know what maybe you watch movies on your phone or on your iPads and you want those apps to be the most accessible to you. Okay, so that's the equivalent in the dock. So even if you don't have this Launchpad, which just shows you every app in the world, if you need an app that you don't have here in the dock, you can either do a search in the Spotlight. Okay, let me turn this, you can go up here into the search. And as I said, I called up an app that you might not have. So for example, I know an app that we don't have here on our desktop is the dictionary. So I'm gonna write dictionary and there it pops up and I'm gonna click on dictionary. And so the dictionary just opened up. So that is not on my dock. So everyone go ahead and open your dictionary. Okay, so go to your computer's dock. You will not find dictionary open. So go instead to this. I mean, some of you can go to the Launchpad and then by alphabetical order, you can look and see if you can find the dictionary, but I don't find this that useful myself, right? Because there it is, right? So I wouldn't do it that way personally. What I would do instead is I would just go to the search bar and write dictionary over there. And then once you found dictionary, then you click on this top app and you open it, which is what you can do on your phone. You can type, pull down, get to that search bar, type dictionary, or on your iPad, type dictionary, and the app you need will pop up. So the Launchpad is, some people want their Macs to work like their pads because they first had a pad and now they bought a Mac and they're like, oh, well, I want it to look. So that's why they have a Launchpad there. But unless you come backwards into the world, like you're accustomed to your pad and now you buy a Mac, and you want it to work like an iPad, then you would use a Launchpad. But other than that, it's much easier to use the Mac tools, which is the search for stuff that's not on your dock, or put the stuff that you want on your dock. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah, I thought it was a little repetitive when I got my new MacBook. I thought, well, it's here and now. it's
Why,
here.
yeah, why do you want it or need it, right? So they're trying to give you, everything on a computer can be done 5 different ways. Do you need to do things 5 different ways? No, learn one, and if it works, right? So at least take one of these ways that I've shown you it works, and that's good enough, right? So now, has everyone opened the dictionary here
No.
in class or at work? At home? Okay, so I'm going to turn off the dictionary again. And who remembers how to turn off an app? This is review from last week. Should I click on this little red button?
Red button.
Okay, so red button is at the right or the wrong answer, you guys?
No.
No,
Now, would it work? Probably yes. Why? And let me be clear. There are, and this is an answer that people who've taken the class before might know and others might not. So it's okay to give me the right or the wrong answer. It's not like, oh, you throw out the wrong answer is a problem. It's more about learning. If I close it from the red button, some apps that can only show you one screen will close. So in fact, if I now close this from the red button, first check, it's open because it has a black dot here. So if I close this from the red button, did that app close?
No,
How do you know?
but
It looked close to me.
it looks close to me too.
It looks close to me. And how do I know there's no black dot down, right? Because it's the kind of app that cannot have more than one window. So when you close this one window, this is one of the apps where that works. So people get kind of, oh, the red button works. It so happens to be an app for which it works. It does not mean that that is how we close computer applications on a Mac. Because as soon as you get into anything slightly more complicated that can have more windows, then that does not close the app. And we began to do this last week. Let me have us do it again. Let's go to the Safari here and open Safari. And if you don't have Safari, go do a search to open Safari. So here's Safari. And again, this is a browser to search for stuff, just like Chrome and whatever, but this is one window. If I close this one window, up here it says Safari, close one window, Safari is still open. Why? Because Safari is a program that you can have more than one window open on it. So then the way to close it is to go to the name Safari and to say quit Safari. So watch. I'm going to open Safari again. Everyone, please open Safari again. And again, if you don't have it in your dock, then go up to the icon and search Safari. And now what you want to do is, instead of going either to the red dot or going to Safari and quit, I want you to notice that there's a shortcut here, which is Command Q. That little flower looking icon represents the Command key. Okay, so every application under the sun that you can open up on a computer closes with a Command Q. So I'm not going to quit Safari. I'm going to use that shortcut. So go to your screen, to your keyboard, and you have the big old space bar on your keyboard. And then to the right and to the left of your keyboard, you'll see the word command and that little flowery icon, right? Do you see it on your keyboard?
Yes.
That is the command key. So hold down the command key with one finger and then tap the Q. And that is the shortcut for the command key. So now I'm going to open Safari again and I'm going to show you with my mouse. Let me see where I'm sharing. Look at me where my face was. I'm sharing my screen. There we go. So I'm going down here and I'm holding down the command key right there. And then I'm going to the Q and I'm tapping the Q. Q there, and command Q. That's it. That's all you need for shortcut. And it worked. Okay. Now be careful, because if you do it too many times, you're going to quit the next thing that comes up. And in my case, the next thing that came up was Zoom. And if I do command Q again, then I'm going to just get rid of Zoom. So every time you do a command Q, whatever app you have under your, whatever app is running will try to quit itself. So now we're going to open a couple of apps and we're going to, oh, okay. I'm looking at the chat, by the way, in a while ago. You guys have to remind me to look at the chat if someone makes a comment. Owen says that he has the F4, but it brings up the spotlight. So look at your keys for something that has those little square shapes to see if one of your keys has it. Other than that, it doesn't matter. As I said, the launch pad on the computer is less important. So if you don't have it, you don't have it, and it's not a big deal. All right. So let's open a couple of apps. First of all, notice what my dock looks like. It has on the left side, it has a bunch of icons, and then there's a line, and then there's 3 icons, and then there's another line, and then there's some more stuff. If you guys haven't been opening many apps, you might only have the trash over here. If you have the trash over here, then you might have a line right after the trash. Then you might have, if you open the dictionary, it might be here in between 2 lines. And then you have a bunch of other stuff. So I'm going to show you what all these different things on the dock means. The stuff to the left of the first line, right? Those are all applications that are considered by Mac. When you buy your computer, the apps you must use the most. So they put them there handy. Now, I always give an example about this. The example I give is, for those of you who decorate, Halloween is coming up. So some people decorate for Halloween, some people don't. Imagine that you decorate for Halloween. You don't have your Halloween decorations out all year, do you? I hope, maybe, I don't know. I have a friend who has a skeleton out in her yard all the time. So what happens is that, let me point to the screen behind you a bit more. When it's October or maybe late September, you might go to the attic or to the shed or to the basement. I don't know where you have your stuff, your storage room, and you bring all your Halloween stuff out. So for October, you want to have handy your spider dishes and your whatever. I'm throwing things out because it's Halloween. You have them handy. So then you put them in your dock. That's equivalent to have them in your dock, right? So you want that application because you're using it all the time in October, right? You're using your Halloween decorations. But then November comes and it's like, okay, I got to tear this down, put up Thanksgiving. So then you go, I'm not going to use this for another year, but I'm not going to give away all my decorations and then have to buy it again next year. I'll put them away. So then you take them off your dock. They're still on your computer, but you don't use them all the time. Okay, so in your dock, you want to have the things that you use all the time. Same thing with your home screen on your iPad or on your phone. You want to have on that first thing you open all the apps that you use all the time. And then on the other screens that we were sliding to, you would have the rest of the stuff. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in the computer, how do we do this? Well, how do we do that thing of adding things or taking things out of our dock on a computer? Then I'll show you how to do it on your phones and your iPads. So first you open a Finder window. So we're going over here to Finder window and click on that and open it up. And in my case, it opens up over here. I'm gonna make it bigger. Remember we practiced making it bigger the other day or smaller? I've opened a Finder window and I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger here for us to be able to see it better. And when my Finder window first opens up, if you have it set up the way the Mac kind of comes, it will open up showing you icons like this, like the icons and a little tiny bit of the name that's usually kind of truncated and it's hard to read. I hate the icon view of these windows. It's hard to understand what things are, where they are. So I'm going to change that up here. We have some icon names and we are seeing views. These are different ways of viewing this window. So instead of seeing this as icons, I want to see this as a list. So I'm going to click right there and I'm seeing it as a list. And now I can read the file names. I can also see them as a column. And right now I don't have anything much in the column mode. So I'm going to go back to list view and see them in that view. But if you notice that the names of these files, they're all the same ones. If I click on the icon, the names of these are the same as the names of these. They're just different ways of viewing the same exact thing. Okay, so give me a second. It's so funny because I never have my stuff with me when I'm teaching, my phones and stuff open, but since I have the iPad connected, I just thought, long story, my husband's bike broke down and he's asking me if I can go pick him up and I'm like, nope, I'm teaching. Figure it out. So I just had to text them for a second. I'm sorry. We'll be done. What time does the class finish? 12.
12:15.
Yeah, so I'll tell them just so they basically figure something else out. So I'm sorry about that. I had to answer that text. And normally I wouldn't have even seen it, but since I'm demoing all these things to you, I'm getting my text. Okay. So here's my my window showing me things in by list mode, which is going to be a much better way of seeing things. I'm going to show you other ways to use these views. But now let's here on the left side on this bar, click on the word applications, applications or apps. Okay, so click here on applications. And here you see every app under the world. And if you want to go back to seeing them as icons, here they are. Here are the applications. So it's kind of similar to that view, but instead of seeing as applications, I'm going to see them as a list or as a column. So there's different ways of saying this. I have the top one is Adobe Acrobat, you know, all the A's, then comes Adobe App Store, Automator, Books, VABC. So by default, they should be in alphabetical order. Same with a list view, alphabetical order, and same with the icon view. It starts with the A's and it goes down to the B's or to the C's. And if I scroll down, these are all the apps that are installed in my computer. So again, if you have Christmas decorations, Easter decorations, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Rosh Hashanah, whatever, Yom Kippur, whatever decorations you have that are seasonal or even daily, you don't have sitting in the middle of your living room. You put them away. That's this folder, the applications folder. All your stuff that in your computer is there. The phones and the iPads, on the other hand, have many screens, and ideally what you do is you have all these extras in the second and third screens, and your front screen operates like the dock where we put the things that we want. So how do I put things that I want? Okay, so I'm going to go and put this on list mode. That's kind of how I like to see things. So put it on list mode, which is the second one here. And now we're going to scroll down and we're going to say, okay, what of all of these things do I want on my dock all the time? And so I'm going to say, and it doesn't matter that most of us don't play chess on a computer, but it's the only game that comes with the Mac. And chess is there because you bought a Mac, it comes with chess. It just comes with it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say, oh, I want to play chess all the time. So I'm going to add it to my dock. So we're gonna grab this chess icon and I'm gonna put my mouse on it. And remember, ideally, you'll click on this little icon and just drag it down, drag it down, drag it down, drag it down. And then when I approach my dock, I don't let go yet. I put my mouse in between two existing icons. If I put them on top of this one, it doesn't work. I need to kind of target the space in between and it opens up and I let go. And there you go. I have added an icon to my dock. And now I can quickly play chess whenever I want to play chess. Same thing for those of you who are saying you don't have the launch pad on your dock. I'm going to take it out. If you go to the L, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, well, there you go. There's your launch pad. For those of you who didn't have the launch pad in your dock, this is the launch pad. You grab it and you move it in between two things and there's your launch pad. Okay. So now, what if you don't want one of these apps? So let's put a couple more in here that we don't need. For example, let's say that I don't want, that I want
Yeah.
stickies. Let's get stickies that we don't use much and let's put stickies down there somewhere. Okay, so now I put Launchpad, I put stickies, I put chess. Okay, now the reason I put them in here would be only if I know that
What else?
things I'm going to use a lot. So for example, I use Photoshop, I use all of those a ton, and my computer has them set up. So here I have the ones that I use a lot. So if you have a folder like this, for those of you who use Photoshop or Adobe, you have a whole bunch of stuff here. You need to first open this little folder by clicking on this little arrow, open it up, and there's my icon for the application. So I'm going to drag it and put it in here. So now Photoshop is easy to open. So why do I want things on the dock? When I want them, when I don't want to have to go all the way up into applications to open, when I want them to be opened quickly, I put them down there in the dock. Okay. So now for those of you who are at home, I want you to tell me if it worked and you were able to add things to your dock, give me a green yes. If you weren't able to put things in your dock, give me a red no. Okay. And I want everyone to answer. So if you're not sure and you don't give me a yes or no, then I'm going to one by one say, okay, so Mary or Josie or Carol, you know, I'll call your name and say, what's happening? Is it a yes or a no? So go ahead and even if you're like, oh, I got it, that means give me a yes. Okay. So that means that the question was, were you able to add things to your dock that were not there before? Now, that's how you add things to a dock that was not there before. I'm noticing that I need to, I'm going to show you what if it didn't work. What if you tried to put something in your dock here and you kind of dropped it halfway because you were trying to drag it in and by mistake you dropped it. That's okay, that happens. If you dropped it halfway, this is different than being on the dock, but it still is a shortcut to your application. So this is called a shortcut, or in Mac parlance, we call it an alias. PC people call it shortcuts. Mac people call them aliases, but it's basically a different way to access that application, only it's floating in the middle of nowhere on my desktop. Now, one of the things that you'll find is that I'm going to be helping you clean up those desktops that are messy and stuff like that. And ideally, instead of having lots of floating icons all over the place, and even if you have them tidy, like here on the right, like these are, ideally you won't have anything and you will have the things you need a lot on your dock, right? So if you did notice, I'm going to put it here because it's easier to see in the dark. If you notice that I have a little tiny arrow appearing there at the bottom of this little book icon, that is what tells me it's an alias. Now, what an alias is if I close this window and I want to open the an application that's not here, right? Plan B is to open it from an application that you have on your desktop. Now, I highly don't recommend, I don't recommend doing this. I recommend putting things that you want on your dock It's much cleaner, especially because if you start doing this and you end up having like 55 things. And you'll see that when you're using your computer, say I'm checking out Safari or whatever, I'm checking out the email, I'm checking out the weather. I don't see my desktop. So I will always see my dock though. So if I want to open that books app or the chess app or whatever, the dock is available to me versus the desktop is not available to me. I would have to move this around and then I start the whole game of, wait, I knew it was there. So, there it is. So let me open it. And then what I've done with Safari is I've hidden it. It's a mess. It's a disaster. So it's much easier to, I'm going to quit Safari now. It's much easier to not have things kind of hovering around on the desktop. It's better to have them on the dock. So I'm going to right click and move this little icon to trash. Okay, I don't need it. So it's only an alias. My actual application is not going to be trashed. Let me show you that. When I open my applications again, there's my books icon. That's the real icon of my application. This is just a shortcut to that. So I'm going to right click and move to trash. I don't want that little shortcut. What I want is those books to be on my dock. So let's try again and drag it until I can put it here in between my apps. Now it doesn't have that arrow. Now it's living in this place where it's able to be quickly opened up. Okay.
Is there a limit to the number of icons you can have in the dock?
So you can keep adding and adding and adding. And what happens is the icons here on the dock begin to get smaller and smaller and smaller. You can have 60 and then you'll get like a tiny little icons, right?
Mhm.
But reality says we don't use 60 apps all the time. We probably use 5, 3, 10. I mean, that's about it, right? So do you really need all these things down there? Now, I recommend not getting rid of those that first come with the Mac because I'll be teaching you over the next few classes how to use them. And then you'll decide if you want them or not. But I will recommend that if there's something you for sure know you'll never use, even if we're not about to teach you about it, to get rid of it. So if you know you'll never play chess, then let's get rid of it from the dock that we added it. So hopefully you've all added about 2 or 3 different apps. I'm seeing a note from Jeanette. I'm looking up at the group right now. Did you, do you need a hand putting things in the dock, Jeanette? I can't hear you. Your sound is off.
I think I'd like to talk with you after class because since class 1, I haven't been able to share the screen to be able to do my practice with your screen open. So,
Okay, so yeah, you need to,
Oh,
have
I
you
can't.
tried helping from the tech support to tell you how to use Zoom?
yeah, I went over your class Zoom from that week and I'm just stymied right now.
Okay, so yeah, I still need you to be able to move my stuff out of the way, hitting escape and moving it out of the way. But so my question was, did you go on to the tech support Zoom and ask them and have them help you do it?
Yes, I did try that.
And they didn't know how to do it either?
That was not an option,
Okay.
correct?
Do you have a laptop or a desktop?
I have a laptop,
And are you in Santa Barbara?
MacBook Air, yes.
So maybe I might need to ask you to, even if you don't want to come into the classroom because you're resisting, the mask or stuff like that, to come one of these mornings, maybe Wednesday morning, and I can just do it for you and show you. And then you'll be free for the rest of the time to be at home. You know what I mean? Now,
Yeah,
some people are in Sacramento and they can't come, but if you're in Santa Barbara, at this point, I can't verbally explain it anymore. I need to actually do it for you. Does that make sense?
Yes. So what
So-
time, Wednesday and where?
Well, this class, no, not Wednesday, Thursday. Sorry. Class is Tuesday, Thursday. I apologize. I always, for some reason, Monday, Wednesday, next class, which is Thursday. Come here at 9 or, a few minutes before 9. And then if you want to stay with us to do the class or come at the end of this class today, leave 10 minutes earlier and join us and then I'll still be here. I don't know. Basically, I need to be able to do this for you, show you how to do that so that you can then do your own work. Because otherwise, yeah, it's very frustrating to not be able to do it. Then you have to wait and do it with the recording and stuff like
I
that.
feel like I'm getting behind.
Yeah.
I understand the principle, but
Yeah, but.
the
until you hold it
hands-on.
Yourself, it's not useful, yeah, because you're just seeing my fake screen and not your own. All right, okay, guys, so, it's good news that you're local, so, that's fixable. I'm glad the answers were yes to those questions. All right, so now let's go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff. First of all, I'm gonna make a little bit of space in here, so I'm gonna make this smaller. Why? Because one way to get things in up your dock is to actually just grab them and drag them up until it says remove, which takes like about an inch or two of screen space. And then when you let go, now it's been removed. Remember, chess is still here. Okay, it's not that I've gotten rid of the app, I've just removed it from my dock. So then I'm going to remove others that I might have added, like I don't need stickies, but I'm going to remove it a different way. I'm going to right click, options, remove from dock. So that's the same as dragging it off the dock, right? So I don't need stickies in there, so I remove from dock that way. So you can either grab and drag off until it says remove. If you drag off and leave it there, it goes whoop, back in there. Goes, oh, that was a mistake. You didn't want to get rid of me. So you need to move it past until it says remove. Then it's gone. Now, by mistake, people remove things they want because they don't notice that they've clicked and they've dragged things up. And so if you see something you do want and it's not there, then you would want to put it back in. All right, so I'm going to take Photoshop off because I use it a lot, but not in this class. This time I'm going to also, you can also do a long click depending on your Mac and your depending on the sensitivity. If you have a newer Mac, or then you can also click and hold and do a long click, which means you hold and you keep holding. If you hold and you keep holding, then this option comes up instead of a right click, and then you go options, remove from dock. So hopefully you've only removing the things that we just put in and not some of the other stuff that comes with the Mac, because I'm going to be trying to teach you. But if you know you don't have Apple TV, you don't pay for Apple TV, you don't use Apple TV, why have it there every single day? It's like having a skeleton in the front yard in February. So grab Apple TV and options, remove, right? I'm going to leave it there only because I'm trying to show you what comes with the Mac, but I don't have Apple TV, so it's certainly not sitting in my real dock. You know what I mean? And then you can pare it down to maybe 5 apps, maybe 10 apps, and then only go to applications when you need something that you use a few times a year. All right. So that's whatever's on the left side of this line. Now, Zoom doesn't come on your dock because it's not one of the Apple apps, but we all have Zoom in your computers because you are attending on Zoom. And you guys, I don't know, you actually might have Zoom on your iPad. So, but it's not a Mac app. So Mac puts on the dock only Mac apps when you first buy it. So that's the only thing you'll find there. So if you own Excel or Photoshop or Zoom, you have to put it in the dock. So another way to put it in the dock is that when you use an app, it appears over here between these 3 lines. If it's an app that's not on your dock, normally it appears between these 3 lines. So right now I already have Zoom over there. Let me actually, I can't right now. I'm gonna, I can't because I'm using Zoom, change this right now. But if you guys see that your Zoom app is between these 2 lines, and you're using it, what you can do is you can right click on it and go to options and say keep in dock. And it's going to move over to this side. See what it just did? It moved over. I'm doing it to the dictionary app because I can't use the Zoom. Now I'm going to say options, remove from dock, and it's leaving the dock. That was my dictionary. So it completely leaves the dock. So what this little area here is, it's showing you up to 3. Some people have it set to up to 5. The latest docks that you have used, apps that you have used that are not in your dock, installed in your dock. So as you can see, I had opened dictionary. I'm going to open dictionary again. So I'm going to go open it from here. I'm going to go find ABCD, and I'm going to double click on this to open the dictionary app. And there it is. It appears in that area between these two lines. And this area is called the recents, the recent apps, right? So this app doesn't live in my dock. This app doesn't live in my dock. This app doesn't live in my dock. But as long as the app gets opened, it sets himself in there or itself in there. Okay. Until when I close this doc, I'm going to close by doing Command Q to quit my dictionary, and it's still there, right? It's still there because it shows you the last 3 apps. So say that I now open Excel. It's going to kick one of these 3 out. The dictionary I just used, so it's going to stay there. But the one I used longest ago will disappear and Excel will appear because Excel is not here. So it'll appear over here. So let me show you that. I'm going to go ahead and open Excel. And I hope, I don't know if it's set up actually.
Yeah. Diana, Deanna, you fade away sometimes. And I'm
Yeah,
not,
I just went over, I just walked over.
okay.
And so that's when I faded away a little. Remind me, when I move out of the desktop, I have to go ahead. When I move away, if you can up your sound a little bit more, because then I can raise my voice, you know what I mean? But it's me moving out of the computer screen. So here I've opened Excel. It doesn't matter what is Excel or isn't Excel. Look at my doc. Right? Now Excel has appeared here on my dock because it was not one of the apps that was installed permanently on my dock. So it appears here under the recents, but something had to be kicked out because only 3 fit in there. And what got kicked out was that app that I had used furthest away. Does that make sense? So maybe I used it 2 weeks ago and it's been sitting there, but now that I used Excel, it's like, oh, well, this one used, so I'm going to just pump it out. So now the next newest thing that I used was dictionary because I opened it 5 minutes ago, but I haven't opened preview. So when I open something else that's new right now, probably preview will disappear. So let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open another app that I haven't opened in a while from here. Let's see. Sorry, that's probably, yeah, that's my reminder. It's time to give you guys a break. So give me a second. So I'm going to go ahead and open Font Book, whatever. I'm going to open Font Book. I haven't used Font Book in whatever. And so see what happened down here? Font Book kicked away preview. And now I have the 3 that I've opened today. Dictionary, Excel, and Font Book. You see that?
Mm.
Now they're still open. If I quit Excel right now, and I'm going to quit Excel, and I'm going to quit Font Book, and I'm quitting it by doing the shortcut Command Q, or I can go ahead and right click Q. They're quit. See how they don't have black dots, but they're still there because they're the most recent apps that I have used that don't live permanently on my dock. All right, so that's what those are. So if you constantly use something and you go, well, I use it so much, I want it in here, then right click on it, go to options and say keep in dock, and it's going to flip over and now it's always going to be on this side. And I can grab it and say, well, I'd rather move it and have it be somewhere else. So I can grab it and drag it over and say, I want it over here. So you can still move things around if you would rather have all your applications on it kind of stuff. If you say, no, I don't really want it in my dock, I only use this once every whoever, then I'll just remove it from the dock. Okay, so that's what the recents is. Does that make sense? It's the last 3 apps that you have used. Yes,
Yes.
Julie, your hand is up.
I am desperate.
I'm sorry.
I hit, to practice, I hit Keynote. Now I can't get out of it. And every time I try to do a quit, it gets a beep.
Oh, you probably have not used it before, so it's probably asking you. There's probably a window somewhere saying,
Yeah, it
new
says
or
a-
let's-
It says a free Keynote update is available and
Yeah.
my only option is okay. I don't even know what Keynote is.
Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. Thank you for explaining what's happening. Whenever your computer needs a response from you, it doesn't let you do anything else. You actually said, I'm desperate. It just beeps at me because the computer's like, hey, you didn't answer. Hello, hello. You need to answer. I'm not doing anything until you answer. So those are called dialog boxes. The computer's asking you something and you have to say yes or no.
It only doesn't, it only says, okay, it doesn't give me a chance
Yeah,
to say
so
no.
basically it's just warning you, hey, there's an update if you want it. And so you got, okay, thanks, just say, okay. It's just letting you know there's an update. Whenever an update's available, it's letting you know there's an update for you to update your app. We talked about updates last week. So that's all that is. So you just say, okay. Okay, so now you can close it. It was just letting you know something. So whenever the computer is telling you something like that overtly, hey, there's an update available. And if you see a button that says, okay, yes, no, cancel, those are the kind of options they give you. You need to respond. Otherwise, it's like, me when my kid doesn't want to do something and I'm like, tap, tap, tap. You're not getting your, computer until you clean the room. And no matter how much he tries, I'm like, no, not happening. That's the computer. You answer yes, no, or okay, and then it moves on. Now you can quit, okay?
Yeah.
Is okay and it doesn't say no.
Well, in this case, it wasn't giving her an option because it just wanted her to know, hey, there's nothing available. So you just say, okay, thanks, because there's nothing.
If you say okay, that you're saying yes to something you want no. So
No, if you're going to, it's a great question. And that's why Julie was stopped, because okay sounds like you need to do an update or whatever. Just so you know, the word okay on computers is just like, okay, got it. That's kind of if it really wants you to install something or do so, it'll be saying cancel or install or, open or close. It'll give you a very specific command. Okay is like, okay, got it. Like, I guess I could put just got it. I was like, but that's what okay is. Okay is not a command that makes anything happen. All right. So thanks for that example. So people now know when there's an update available for your app. Remember, I told you last week that it's going to let you know, and that's its way of letting you know. It won't let you move forward until you acknowledge that dialog box where the computer's speaking to you. All right. Then yes, you can move in, and now you probably were able to close it. Yeah, Julie.
I have a follow-up then before I get myself all messed up again. If I hit Keynote and then I go up in the upper left where it says about Keynote, is that what will tell me what it is? Because I have no idea what some of these things are.
Yeah. One of the ways to know is to ask me while you're in class. You have, the next up until November, December, you have me in class if you're in my classes. Another way is to Google it to find out what it is. The about just tells you the model of that version. So for example, I'm going to open Keynote myself, Keynote, and some of you guys have it, some of you guys don't. But Keynote, looks like Keynote is not installed here on this computer. So I actually, again, things that I keep finding, they've set up these computers, but they haven't completely set them up. So I need to, let me write down Keynote. Pages and numbers. Give me a second. I just need to, I hear on the slide, next time I meet with the tech support people, I need to tell them stuff. And so I'm making myself a note right there. So Keynote is a, so how many of you guys know about Word, PowerPoint, and Excel? Those are applications that belong to the company Microsoft, and Microsoft created them, and it's called Microsoft Office, and you have Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Well, for those of you who are Mac users, if you don't want to, you don't need to buy them, because you have Keynote, which is equivalent to PowerPoint, Pages is equivalent to Word, and Numbers is equivalent to Excel. So there's 3 apps that you can install in your computer that are that come with your computer, depending on the age you bought your computer. Some of them come with your computers and others you need to install. They're free if you are a Mac user, but depending on when you bought it or didn't buy it, you actually have to install it, or they're already pre-installed. So if they already pre-installed for you, they're probably here in your dock. And they are Keynote, Numbers, and Pages, and that's what those 3 things are. Okay. So I can't open it because I don't have it, but let me open instead Excel again. Okay, so I'm going to open Excel, and notice that any application, this is what Julie was asking, when you go to the name Excel and it goes about, it just gives you the version. Like when we went to our computer and it told us, when I went to the Apple and about this Mac, and it gave us like Monterey 12, this is about version of, but it doesn't tell you what Excel does, okay? So it's not to find out what this app does, which was her question, which is a long answer. The about gives you what version, when it was installed, when you bought it, license terms, that kind of thing. So that's all the about is, and it's so for any single program in the world of Macs, when you go right under the file name to about, then it gives you information about that application. You see how old or how new or how whatever it is. And down here you have the quit. So that's why the about under the Apple was telling us about this Mac, okay?
Okay.
So that's what that is. So no, you would have to Google it and, you know.
They
go to
don't make it
somebody.
easy, you know,
What's
they
that?
ought to be, they don't make it easy. They should put it right, you know, define it or something, so I would know.
Yeah, well, in the end, what happens is that once you know the name of something, you know, once you know, you know, so in the end, once, you know, like as much as they don't have an explanation for mail, but once you know that it is for your emails, it's kind of logical, but I understand that Keynote pages and numbers are words that might not, the first time you see them might not mean much, but after that, they just mean that's the name of this application. Google, if you want to find anything that you don't know on a Mac, so now I've closed everything again. The Mac has its own help. So I can go up here to where the Apple is, make sure you're on the Finder, and on the far right, you have the word help. See that? Help right there. So you can go in there, and that's my reminder to give you guys a break again. So I'll be giving you guys a break really quickly. But under that help, you can write the word Keynote, for example. Oh, because I don't have Keynote on this computer, it's not telling me. All right, so that's one place where you might get some help, but there is no help found for something you don't have. But what you can do, what you can always do, and watch this, this is partly what I've been teaching you today, the spotlight. Do you remember what the spotlight is? Where to find the spotlight? On the far right, the magnifying glass, that's called the spotlight. Now, why is the spotlight important? Because when you click on it and you look for something, so in this case, I have the word Excel in there. I'm going to clear that and I'm going to write Keynote. Right? So when you use the spotlight is showing you, if you own the application, it would show you the app to start with up at the top to open it. But I don't have it here, so it's not showing me that. But it's showing me that I have files that I can use with Spotlight. And if not, it starts showing you sites on the web that talk about Keynote, or how to buy it on the App Store, or it can give you a definition, or it can give you suggested websites to go talk about Keynote. Wikipedia, what is Keynote? It's a presentation software. Siri, it's like everything under the world of what's possible for Keynote appears in the spotlight, not just the application. So what you can do is look down up in here and go, I wonder what Keynote is. And so then you go, Wikipedia is something online that always tells you it's the Encyclopedia Britannica of the past. So I'm going to click on Wikipedia right there. And it says, oh, it's a presentation software developed as part of da 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 da. That's not available it's available for the phone. So it kind of gives you an idea of what that is. Okay, so the spotlight helps you search the web, your computer, your files, any files that you have that are spotlight files, et cetera, and at the very top, the app. So if you own the app, like I do own Excel, then the first thing it gives you is the actual application, and that's how you can open. That's why before, when we put in dictionary, it opened the app. So like the Spotlight helps you to open the app, but any files that you have that are openable, information, suggests anything under the word of Excel is going to appear over here. Anything under the word of Keynote is going to appear, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
So
And then
when in Excel, we would purchase it in the App Store.
if you guys want Excel or any of those applications, because you're students here, you can get them for free. So if you're interested in that, we can talk about that later. But otherwise, yes, you could probably, you could buy them from Microsoft, or you buy them through the App Store.
Somewhere.
But you guys would get them for free because you're students here. All right, so the Spotlight is really useful to search. When it says Spotlight search, it searches not just your computer, but the web, definitions, any file that's usable. So the Spotlight is very powerful, and it's the Finder's search. It's the Apple, it's the OS search, and that is the equivalent of that first search. So let me go back to the phone now. And or the iPad, that Spotlight that I just did there on the phone is equivalent to putting your finger here in the middle of that main screen and just dragging down. That search there, that is the Spotlight for your phone. Now notice that when you pull that finger down, it gives you some suggestions based on what are the things that you're using the most. So it looks like on this phone, I've been using the settings the most, the reminders, the camera, and mail. So that's the first thing that appears. But the moment I start writing in there, so say what if I write a Keynote in here and I write K-E-Y. Oh, well, look at that. I have the Keynote application on this phone. There it is. Okay, so it pulls it up. But when I first wrote just K, it's showing me anything that could be a K on my phone. It could be the app. It could be an app, a calendar with a K, an event. It could be photos that say K. Could be a file that says called Kitty. So if I keep scrolling down, these are all the different things that my computer found that have a K. Does that make sense?
Why do you have two keynotes where it says under files?
This is the app. Oops, sorry. This is the app. Sorry. The first K, this is the app. See, it says
Yeah.
apps Keynote. And then down here, it has, I have a folder called Keynote in my files. See how it says files? I have a folder called Keynote. So that's the second place where it found the word Keynote. But it tells you here under what, or under mail, if I've ever sent anything in Keynote. So there's a mail, okay? And so I can even keep showing more results and stuff like that. So this is your Spotlight, so to say, for the phone or for the iPhone or for the apps, for your iPad. So now to clear that, if I don't want to keep, I can click on that little K, X over there, and now I start a new search. So maybe now I search for Excel. So I'm going to write EXC, and the first choice is Microsoft Excel, but I don't have it. So it says, do you want to get it? So it sends me to the App Store. Got it? Because I don't have it. I did have Keynote on my phone, but not Excel. So it gives me the option to get. Or it lets me it's showing me the app numbers, which I told you is the Mac version of Excel. So it's giving me that option, right? Or it's, as I keep going down, if there's anything in Excel in my mails, and I guess I've received Excel files up here. So it's in my mail. I'm talking about the word Excel, more about how to learn how to use Excel, Siri knowledge, et cetera, et cetera. So they basically, it's giving me many different ways to find the word Excel in my phone. Okay, so that's the Spotlight for the phone. And when I don't want this anymore, I can either hit the cancel up here or that X to get rid of it and do another search. And when I don't want to do a search anymore at all, then I hit cancel and I'm back to my main app. So that's the Spotlight on the computer, and that's the Spotlight on the phone, which is the same on your app. Okay, so go ahead and do a search. You can do searches for stuff that even something that somebody emailed. So I'm going to do a search for oh, in this phone, I don't have it, but you guys can search for, you know, this morning I sent you an email. So you can write my name, for example, and see if you write my name, Diana, and you pull down, you might have other Dianas available. And it's like, oh, look, Diana Ross, the artist, or Diana Spencer, the Princess of Wales. So I'm glad to be put in that same possibility. But then it finds me, I have a contact for my name, and then I have files that have my name. And then if you guys have an email, down here from me. You might discover that I appear in your mail.
Cool.
Like, what do you guys see that?
Very nice.
So it's pretty, it's powerful, right? So now search for something that you know is somewhere in your phone that you don't know where it is or isn't. Oh, yeah, your computer, by not using it kind of turned itself off. Okay, so go ahead and use that search. I'm gonna give you all a break. But go into your phones and your apps and just use that search to put in something that you know. Barbara, your hand is up.
Where did you find Spotlight?
On the computer, the spotlight is the magnifying glass on the top right. Let me just, since I have my phone that I'm sharing, here you just put your finger in the middle of the screen and pull down, and that main search would be, it's not called the spotlight on the phone, it's just called the search, but it's equivalent. And on my computer, I find it by going up to this top
Magnifying glass.
magnifying glass right there.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
That's it. All right, I'm gonna stop my share right now, and you guys, we're gonna take a 15-minute break. So I'm gonna write it here in the chat. What time is it? 10:48. So be back by
Oh, 03.
11:03. Thank you. Some people who are in my class for a while know that I have a hard time figuring those 15 minutes out, so thank you for telling it to me. All right, I'm gonna mute my sound here and my video so that I can talk to people here without it being a mess. Same. I'm gonna mute you all so that you can make noise in your rooms and your houses, and then when we get back, we can unmute again. See you guys in 15.
I don't really keep up with the rules too much.
All
but-
right, everyone, come on back if you're at home. Come on back, calling you. All right. It's 11:03.
Well, you couldn't get a MacBook.
What's that?
He said if you're still under $1,000 and would go to jail or anything, I said, well, you couldn't even get a MacBook.
If you steal something under $1,000, you don't go to jail?
There's some ridiculous.
Yeah, they
amount
don't,
like
they
that.
don't do bail anymore under most circumstances.
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
bail, but not jail. I don't know.
you've got nothing to lose by trying to steal a MacBook.
No, they're more than $1,000.
Nothing to lose, baby.
All right. Hey, everyone. I just walked in on an interesting conversation. I was trying to get
It's the 60s.
Radine to be signed up to the class. Okay, thank you. Okay. So give me a sign of life when you're there. I'm gonna clear your feedbacks. Give me a sign of life when you're all back in front of your computers. If your video's on, I see you there. But if your video's not on, then give me a little hand or something. Great. I need to change Jim's name. He's Garland. Let me rename that to. There we go. 'Cause otherwise later I don't. Is there any other name that's not very clear? No. Everything else is great. Okay. So before I start with something new, for those of you who are at home, is there something that hasn't worked for you yet of what I've been showing you that you want me to show you again or need more explanation?
I'll come to your class on Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, great. And bring your laptop so I can.
And all my cords and everything.
All this stuff. Good. In fact, I was just having that conversation in the office where precisely, it doesn't matter what class you're signed into, if you're signed into in person or online, you can choose to come some days online, some days in person. You're in person and you feel sick, join us online, make whatever fits best for you.
Well, the office had said your class was full. Your classroom on site was full, so I couldn't do that. So-
Yeah, and I was just talking to them about that. They have this fixed message, which is online people are online people. And I'm explaining, no, the whole point why you teach HyFlex, the term HyFlex means student gets to choose what's most comfortable for them to how to learn. And they can do either or. So it doesn't matter which one you're signed up to. And everyone here got signed up to the in-person because before we didn't have 2 CRNs. When the 2 CRNs got divided, all the people who were already signed up got defaulted to the in-person, which was most of you guys. And then the online only had 3 people. But in reality, you guys are all online and only 3 the first day, 4 now, 5 now are here in person. So it doesn't matter which one you're signed into now. That's how it is right now, but the people in the front office didn't know that. And so now I was talking to them because they couldn't sign Radine up. And now I'm gonna have to talk to the people in admissions because they don't know that. And they might change the rules, but that's how it is right now. So anyway, it doesn't matter which you do, if you're in person or if you're online.
Thanks for your flexibility.
No, that's the whole point now. It's still to be, the whole point is that some things have not worked online for some people. And if so, they can keep showing, they can show up in person. And other people, other you guys are so happy in person, I'll never see you. So online that I'll never see you in person anymore. So it's fine. It's, trying to fit the needs for everyone. Now, that said, sometimes there's a glitch here too in the whole process, but it's, for the most part, it's working out. Need to put this window. I have an extra window here that I need to hide all the time. There we go. Here we go. All right. So let me share my screen again. My main desktop. All right. So now we've been talking about how to move things around, add them or take them away. I have not shown you yet how to take something away on the phone, because in the phone there is no, well, that's not true. There's a little dock. Let me share really quickly my phone. So on a phone, there is this bottom here, little dock, right? So I need to move things around on my screen because I've got something in the way. Hold on. There's this thing that gets in the way. I need to, okay, there we go. All right, so there's this part of the screen down here is the dock, so to say, but it's much more reduced than it would be on the computer. So you really want to put only the things that you use all the time on your dock. Now, if you have an iPad and you flip it sideways and it's a newer iPad, then it has a longer dock and it's much more similar to the old iPad. But the old iPads didn't have the dock either. So it depends on the age of the iPad that you have. So how do you add things here or not? Same way. As I showed you before, you long click something. So this down here on the left is my phone. Then this one is Safari for the internet. Then this one is messages. Sorry. And then this one here is music. So say that I don't use one of these a lot. Say I don't use the music app a lot and I would rather put another one in here. Then I can kind of click and long hold. And now I don't want to remove it because I still listen to music. I just don't want it in the dock. So I can just drag it out with my finger. I'm putting it somewhere else. And I'm bringing something else that I use a lot. And I'm putting in the settings in here, for example. Or I'm dragging out the settings and I'm bringing in the camera. So I'm going all the way to the top and I'm bringing in the camera. Just make sure when you do this that you never touch that little minus right there, because then you'll get rid of your camera app, right? So make sure to be putting your finger in the middle of the icon and moving it around. And maybe you check the weather all the time. I don't know, put it in there. So whatever you prefer to have. Now I'm going to leave it kind of how it came. I think it came this way with the music app there. But that's how you would move things in and out of that main dock. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
And then when you're done, you just touch some neutral area and those little things disappear and then you're good. Yeah.
So you accidentally hit the camera and it's gone.
Yeah.
And you get it back from your computer.
Yes, if you accidentally hit something and it's gone, you go to the App Store again,
Oh, okay.
right?
All
And you don't have to pay for it again. You just need to download it again.
Right.
Okay. Now, and then you do a search in the App Store for camera again, and then it says get, and you get it, and it's free because you already had it. Like if it's something you've paid before, you've had to pay for it, and you've already paid for it, the App Store knows you paid for it, and you just download it again. If you have never had it and you want it, and it's a paid app, then you pay for it. And then you download it. And if you get it off your screen, you've already paid for it. So it doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. It's just you have to go back and get it again. And when it installs, it comes up with all the data that you already had. So say that by mistake, you delete your contacts. Don't despair. Go to the App Store, re-get your contacts. And because your Apple ID is connected and all of that, then all your contacts will appear in there. Does that make sense? So it's not a major, oh my goodness, what I have done, what a disaster. It's just you have to do some more steps to get it through. Yeah.
One other quickie on the iPhone. How do you get your screen to stay open?
Yeah.
longer?
A bit longer. Yeah. So in your settings, go to your settings, right? And you want to be careful how long you leave your screen on because it's a matter of security. So if you're using your phone out there and you lose your phone and you have it to set to stay open for half an hour, then anyone can open up your phone and get to any of your apps in case you're at one of your apps is your bank or stuff like that. Just be careful. That said, yeah, so you choose how long you're going to have your computer open. And so I believe it's here under
Screen time.
privacy. No, hold on. It's under
Screen time.
no, it's under what?
Screen time, maybe.
No, screen time is, you tell yourself, your phone will turn off if you've been on like Facebook for half an hour. And that's all you've given yourself. It doesn't give you that much, that kind of thing. But hold on, where was it that you changed?
Display and
Here, Face
brightness.
ID and passcode. Here we go. So you go to Face ID and passcode. You enter your passcode because you're about to change stuff. And then here you can turn on or off your passcode. Wait, but no, hold on. No. Where you can change how long your passcode is on. Jesus, I forget.
I think it's on the display on brightness.
Okay, let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm sending you down a rabbit hole. Display, where do you have?
Up at the top. Under general.
Under general.
No. Go back to the left.
Sorry.
Like third down under.
Oh, display and brightness, the third one down. Okay, so this one. Display and brightness, night shift really. Here we go. Auto lock 30 seconds. So I have it on for 30 seconds. So you click on that and you tell it how much long. So maybe 5 minutes, but it won't give you much more than that. So now it'll take 5 minutes before it turns off, which by the way, for teaching, that's not a bad idea for this one. So I'm going to switch it to 5 minutes because otherwise now the longer your app is on, the quicker it uses up the battery. So if you have an old battery, an old phone or the loose battery, you don't want to keep this you want to make sure. So thanks, by the way, you guys, things that, it's all there, but sometimes you need to search where things are. And if you don't do it, usually you set this up once and you never set it up again, right? Now, since we're here in the display and brightness, you might want to know that your phone can turn, this is the important one, I think here. You can get your phone to turn into night light on so that it doesn't hurt your eyes so much and it doesn't interrupt your sleep. You go here to night shift and you can schedule what time your phone will turn on to this like warmer light instead of this blue light that alters your night sleep. Okay. So this is if you go to sleep, say at 10 p.m. and you're on your phone at 10 p.m., the light is in your eyes, keeping you awake. So you change the schedule and maybe after 8 p.m., you ask the phone to always give you a warmer light, okay? Or you want to enable it on your own. So over here, if this is too early, like if at 10 p.m. you're already asleep, you don't want the light on until 10 p.m. So you click on this thing and you say, okay, maybe sunset to sunrise. So then it works a little bit more with the days of the week. Or if you do custom schedule, maybe you say, no, I want it to be at 8 p.m. I want to have the blue light, okay? And then I'm fine if I wake up early at 6 a.m. It's all right to have the other light or something like that. So you change the schedule for when you want your light to go dark to light or light to dark, okay? So we're in this set, Nadine, in the settings, and this is the same for your iPad, where we're changing how long the lock stays on or off. But when we went to this setting, and there the display and brightness, I'm showing a couple of other important things under display and brightness. So if you want to check out your settings for that, where you get to have a different color to the light. So if you're someone who's on your phone or on your iPad or on your computer, by the way, you can do this for your computer. If you're on your phone or on your iPad, right before going to bed, that blue light is interrupting your sleep. So you can come over here and turn it into night tone, so to say. Now, another thing you can do is up here is change the light to be in light mode or dark mode, and see how my whole screen changed to dark mode or light mode. And when you're in light mode, all of this whiteness at 10 p.m. is in your eyes. If you're in dark mode, it's dark all the time. Like my son likes it dark all the time. Most people who've had this for a while like only light for all the time, but what you can do is turn it on automatic. And so what that does is it you'll see for now, for non-automatic, and then you'll see that when it's time for sunset, at some point, say that today the sunset is at 7 p.m. At 7 p.m. it'll shift to dark mode, right? And so it just shifts so that at nighttime everything is dark, and then at 6 a.m. or whenever sunrise is 5 a.m. it shifts back to light. So that's the automatic. It uses the time of year. So in the summer it goes later, and winter it goes slower because it knows when the sunset is wherever you're living. Okay, does that make sense? That's what's automatic. And then the other one that might matter a lot to people here in this class, I have my personal phone is text size. Down here, I click on text size, and you can choose what size you want your text to appear. So like if you have good sight, you might want to see more on your screen. If you have bad eyesight and you don't, then you can make it all the way to the top, and you can make it even bigger than that in the accessibility settings. The medium size is the default one that comes. I have personally made mine bigger so that I don't always have to put on my glasses when I read my phone. But this works for apps that are part of the PC, the Mac version. If you have an app that's a different brand name, like a different manufacturer, then they might not respect these settings. But for all of the Mac Apple apps, they respect the setting. So I don't know if you can tell, but everything got much bigger now. I'm going to go back to the text size and see how right now I can see from brightness down to display zoom. Go to text size and I bring it down to small, and I go back, look at all the different things I can see, but it's really tiny. If I go to text size and I make it really big, I have to move this thing over. I'm moving that over. Sorry, my finger is moving my mouth. I go back, then everything looks really big, and I have to scroll more to see the same things, but that's the cost of it working, right? And or I can even ask my text to be bold and see how everything got bold and fat, so it might be easier to read. Okay, so again, you can do this on the iPad or on your iPhone. Everything I show on the phone is equivalent on the pad. The pad can do some more things than the phone can do, but if the phone can do it, the pad can do it. Okay.
Is 15 minutes too long for auto lock on an iPad?
It depends.
It's at home most of
It stays on. So if you're having an issue with your battery, 15 minutes of your display on that you're not using it is really using up a lot of your time before you have to plug it in again. So because the moment you put it down, how long are you going to take to go, say, to the bathroom and back, or to the kitchen and back to get a cup of tea and back, or a glass of water and back? I mean, but if you're never going to use it anymore and you lay it down for 15 more minutes, it sits there before it turns off. So I would say I like it to lock pretty quickly because I have a very easy passcode and I just go do it. Or if you have a fingerprint, just put your finger in there and it opens up. And then I save battery. But maybe some in between, 5 minutes or something like that. It just 15 minutes seems to me for an iPad or a phone too long. Definitely for a phone too long, because if you're out in the streets, that's 15 minutes. And if your phone falls and someone picks it up, it's still working. Versus a pad, if it's always sits at home and it's just you, well, then it's just about your battery. Same with your computer. Okay. So any questions about any of these, you guys?
These are important.
So I'm going to go back out, and if you leave it here with this automatic turn on, check it out today after sunset, and you'll see that your screen should look dark like that. And it's not that something went wrong. All it did is that the background now is like, phew, your eyes are more rested and you don't have all that light, all that whiteness peering into. If you can never get accustomed to it, you hate the dark, then leave it on light all the time, turn the automatic on, and it'll never go dark. So again, these settings is where you choose how you want things to work for you. So I'm going to go ahead and put it back on this, on automatic mode, and have it to be light until sunset and sunrise instead of my custom schedule. And I'll use that one. Okay.
What did you say display zoom was?
Display what? Oh, the text size, you mean? Oh, down here. This has to do with if you want your main display to show up zoomed in already or standard. So if you, standard is what we normally see zoomed in, it just shows up like bigger. So you need to try both, say set, and then see if that seems that it's too small or too big for you. See how here it's showing me standard will be smaller and zoomed in will be bigger. So let me see
Thank
this
you.
again. There, see on the left, see how that is smaller and that's bigger for your notifications. So that's what that is. So if you want your notifications to be bigger, you put zoomed in. And I think up here you have to go and say set. And then say use zoomed, but I'm not going to do that because this will restart the iPhone, right? And right now I'm teaching, so I'm not going to use that, but that will change. Some things need, the phone needs to restart for it to work. So that makes that everything gets a bit bigger. Okay. So it's like putting a magnifying glass on your phone, so to say. All right. So by the way, there's so much to learn on the Mac itself and on all these apps that I'm in all these classes. There's not one specifically for all of this. So I'm creating some classes where we can have specifically how to handle these apps and stuff, these phones and devices and stuff like that. But more and more it's become important to have these things that you guys know how to handle them so that you see the same things on both sides. But anyway, you need to explore a little bit, go to any of these settings, and then on the computer, go to the system preferences, and you'll find a lot of the settings are parallel to that. So right now, what I'm going to do then is head back again to the computer. So now I'm going to share my display with you, and I'm going to open the system preferences, okay, which is where when I first changed my display. There we go. So I'm going to go to my system preferences, and now over here, I'm going to show you how to do the same thing we just did on the phone as far as display and light and all of that. So up here on the desktop and no, on the general, I'm sorry, on the general. So depending on where you're last used your system preferences, you might be inside of this one, for example. I don't know. Remember, this waffle key here brings you back to all the different settings available. And in this one, and I go too fast, it kind of stops. In the general one, okay, so again, the top left choice, general. Here you can have, again, the light or the dark mode, and see how the whole, everything turned dark now. See how everything turned dark? Or auto. And in auto, right now, because it's daytime, everything is white. And in auto, what's going to happen is that at sunset, everything will turn dark. Everything will go and turn into that. Does that make sense? Now, some people go, oh, I love it always dark. Then just choose dark and it'll always be dark. And sometimes people hear, oh no. Is my recording stopped?
No, it looks like it's still running.
It's still recording.
Oh, I got a message saying recording. Oh, okay. Phew, sorry. I thought, yikes, because I need to have the class recording. All right. Sorry, I got a weird message, but it didn't mean that. Okay. So then if you always want everything dark, keep it on dark. Now, if you want everything light, keep it on light, and then it won't do that. But if you choose auto, then it's going to, right now, look light. And then for now, for today, maybe choose it and see today around 7 p.m. or 8 p.m., whenever sunset happens, you'll see everything suddenly turn dark. And at first it might be confusing because you open your computer, you go, things will look different. I mean, things, you know, things will look like this. And if I open a Finder window, it's going to look like this. And sometimes people share their screens and their screen is all dark. And I know people get confused, and it's just because they have the dark mode turned on. This is your Finder, the same one I was showing you before. In light mode, looks like that. In dark mode, looks like this. So if you think this is going to be really confusing for you, don't do that, or do it and get accustomed to it. And then when you are on your computer at night, your eyes won't be, your sleep won't be altered so much. It's like your brain and the way it receives the blue light from the screen. This is going to be really helpful. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it on light for now because it's the default mode.
For your personal computer, do you use third option, auto?
Yes and no. When I'm editing photos, no, I need it on light because I have a color calibrated screen. So for that part of my work, I don't use the light mode, but for regular, yeah, because it's just so much, I mean, it just made such a difference to me. My phone goes dark, everything goes dark, and it really has helped my sleep, yeah. So I use it on auto mode. Anyway, so that's just, but that, again, some people get accustomed to it and some people don't. My son likes it on dark all day long. He just got accustomed to dark mode for everything and he likes it much better. So, you know, choices. There's someone here who whenever they share their screen, is it Paul? I don't know, someone in class last session, every time they share their screen, he's always on dark mode. And that's their choice. All right. Now, other changes that you can make here. So there's a, I haven't shown you all the details of what you can have yet on the screen. So a lot of these things will be depending on what your equipment or your gear is. So like over here, it says show scroll bars based on mouse or trackpad. Basically, this means that if, what I was just telling you, if you have a mouse, a PC mouse that doesn't move sideways, then you will always be given a scroll bar to move sideways with a scroll bar. If you have a mouse that has the option to move sideways, then you won't see a scroll bar to move sideways because you just use your mouse. So basically, it'll adapt to whatever equipment you have. Does that make sense? Now, if you miss the scroll bars, even if you have a Mac and you would love to have, you have a Magic Mouse and you have a touchpad, but you would still like to see scroll bars, you can just turn on always and always see scroll bars. If you're accustomed to scroll bars, if you never know how to find them, you know what I mean? So these are choices you can make based on other stuff that you can name. Now, my default web browser is Safari, and I'm gonna teach you why that is important for Mac people. But you can still decide, you know what? No, I want Chrome. In which case, when you open and install Chrome, Chrome says, oh, install me as default, and you probably said yes. So yours over here might say Chrome instead of saying Safari. And that's a choice that when Chrome got installed, it defaulted. Now it says Chrome. So it's up to you what you want in there, right? And so your choice. I'm gonna advocate for Safari, but if not, this is where you would change it. If you have other options available, I have Firefox or Chrome, I can switch here, which one I want to be by default, my default. So by default, I'm gonna leave Safari. But what that means that is if you ever need something, always something makes you open the internet, a link in an email says, check this out on the internet, Safari will open to show you that link versus Google or Chrome will open to show you that link. It's that kind of thing is what it means by default. Okay, or if you have to download something, it'll default download or upload onto Safari and stuff like that. So anyway, some of these I need to teach you more for you guys to know what these are. But the last one I want to show you though, the very, very last one, allow handoff between this Mac and your iCloud devices. And that is handoff is the name of a feature where now if you have an iPad, a phone, a computer, and you start writing something in one, and then you get interrupted and you have to go. When you open it up on another device, there it is, half written, and you continue. So handoff is the fact that no matter what device you have, if you have the settings connected to the iCloud correctly, if this thing is turned on, then I'm halfway through writing an email, and then I have to leave. And when I get to my doctor's office, now I have to wait half an hour. I open up my phone, there's a half written email, I continue writing. Or, you know what I mean? Whatever you can, you're halfway through a movie and you're watching the movie and then you just pick it up on your other device and you keep watching it. You know what I mean? They all know, all the devices act as one. That's what handoff is. And so that's this little guy here, that between your Mac and your iCloud devices. All right. I see, hold on, Julie's hand has been up for a while. So Rod, give me a second. Yes, Julie.
On that screen where you have a default web browser,
Yeah.
Mine says safari.app.
Yeah, that's fine. It's the same thing.
Okay, okay, thank you.
The full name of the extension is .app.
Okay,
And sometimes it says one or the other. So yeah, good question. Rod, your hand is up. Rod is in person, but his hand is up, so you guys don't see it. But yeah, Rod.
Is there another setting like that on my iPad? That the, Allow the handoff?
Allow the handoff. There's a setting. and then you have the handoff. By default, it's always on, so you would have had to turn it off for it to not work. But if your phone is old or your iPad is old, and I don't know right now when I say old, what number, because in my brain, I can't remember what model, but I used to have, I had a 6 forever, and then I had an 8. And in the 8, I don't remember if the 8 did handoff or not, but as of the 10, this school iPhone is a 10, it does handoff. So I'm not sure if it stopped at the 7 or at the 8, if the 8 already did it. So anything older than an 8 doesn't do handoff, and newer than 8 it does, or something like that. And it's, even though you update your OS, the phone doesn't have the capabilities, and so it still works. But there's certain features that get added that it just doesn't know how to do because it's older hardware, right? But I don't remember handoff where to find it. The 8 does handoff. Okay, so the 8 does handoff already. So I think it has to be the 7 or the, I know the 6 doesn't. I think the 6 doesn't do handoff. I think the 7 does. I don't know. And the iPads, I don't. It has to be pretty old for an iPad to not do handoff. And again, pretty old seems like a weird concept, but I don't know the iPad models off the top of my head.
Diane,
Which one does or doesn't do it. For the most part, anything that's still working probably does it. Yes, Barbara?
I have an iPhone 7 and it has AirPlay and handoff.
It has handoff on a 7. Good. So there we go. By consensus, it's the 6 that doesn't do the handoff and older. And basically, the 6 is still a very functional phone. The rest of my family members have 6s, and it's very cheap to buy a 6 right now. It's $100, something like that. So every time one of my kids, you know, his kids, if they lose their phone or whatever, they have to pay for it, but they only have to pay $100 to just get it on eBay or whatever, and they get a used 6. So it's a perfectly good phone, but it doesn't have all the bells and whistles that the new ones have. So it might not do handoff, right? But other than that, it does all the basic stuff. So that's our default phone in my house. I happen to have the newer one myself because as I'm teaching and I need to know all this new stuff. But other than that, you know, again, I'm never going to advocate for you getting the newest and the bestest, just the one that works for you with the features you like. So if you guys have an old one and you go, ooh, handoff is awesome. Okay, put it on the pros and cons of why you might want to upgrade. Well, handoff, for example, right? Anyway.
Deanna,
Yes, Leon.
is there a handoff on a SE?
Yes.
Where? Dove.
You know what? So what I'm going to show you what I do when I don't know something, I open up Safari or Chrome or Google, whatever, and I go, where is handoff settings on iPhone SE? Right? I just Google it because
Yeah, you Google and I
know
call
a lot.
Apple for 800 Apple Care. I never Google that stuff because
yeah, but then you have to go and talk to people. We just do that.
Yeah,
Go to settings,
you're
general,
right.
AirPlay and handoff. So there we go. So
You're
we go
right.
to settings, general,
go to
AirPlay and
settings.
handoff. There it is. Right. So when you guys don't know where something is, just Google it. You have to be very good on your how you Google. So I always explain what I'm looking. So I wrote iPhone SE because why? Maybe on an iPhone 6, it might be somewhere else. So if I go iPhone 6, it might say iPhone 6 doesn't do it or not. And so then I check in here and it's about the Mac OS, but not the iPhone SE. So can you use how to enable or disable iPhone 6 Plus? So I guess it is on a 6 Plus, but I don't know. Or where is
Thank you,
that set?
Deanna.
Right? So there you go.
But mine says AirPlay and handoff, and I don't want AirPlay. I don't want to use earbuds. Am I going to be getting in trouble if they have it on the same line?
No, you're never in trouble with AirPlay. If you don't want to use it, you don't use it. So AirPlay, and I'll explain when I get to all the choices, but AirPlay is allowing for the phones and devices that have it, for people who have like ear pods, for example, the iPhone, are they called iPods? What are they called? The iPhone The Apple,
Hearing aids,
The earbud?
AirPods, thank you. I forget the brand names of things. The earbuds made by Apple are called earbuds. Thank you. And you can set it up with other brands too, but you can set them up so that they function through AirPlay instead of through Bluetooth, which is how I use mine. I don't use a cable to listen to stuff. I have things I put in my ears that are not the Apple brand, but they use Bluetooth. So basically it's non-wire ways to connect your stuff to your device, to your headsets, or to your TV. You might want to connect your phone to your TV. If you have a new or modern TV, then it'll have a setting where through AirPlay, you can show stuff on your phone and it shows on your TV. So those are all things that are so specific to whether that you have a TV that can do that and you have, then the phone allows you to do that. But my TV is really old, so AirPlay, I can't play it. Your phone can do it, but my TV can't do it, right? So you need to have both pieces of equipment that can do it, in which case you can show a movie on your phone and see it on your TV or vice versa. Now, what I do is I connect them by cable. So this laptop that you guys see in person here, I have a laptop here, which is my 2012. This sits in front of my TV, which is just a monitor at home. And I have TV running off of this laptop because I just open up Netflix and I run Netflix and we see it on our big TV, which is how I have TVs. I don't have channels. So, if you can't connect by AirPlay, you put a cable on it and then it works with my old TV, right? So you just have different ways of going around it. But that's what the choice of AirPlay for Apple. So let me share my screen. And this is the setting that that Leon was asking about. In the same AirPlay and handoff setting, see at the very top, it says automatically AirPlay to TVs, right? So he says, but I won't be using it. Don't worry, I don't have a HomePod either. So, if I don't have it, you can turn it off because I don't have it, or just leave it on. And if you don't have it, it won't work. AirPlay to TVs is automatic. If there's an TV that can pick it up, it'll pick it up. But since mine doesn't work, it just doesn't work because my TV doesn't work. It's okay to leave it on. It doesn't work. If I happen to go visit a friend, I've never done this, but if I were to visit a friend that has a TV and my phone is on and I want to show them something, and I ask them, does your TV have AirPlay? And they say, if it's a modernish one, it'll say, yeah, then I can turn this on and display my photos from my last trip to Oregon on their TV, for example, right? So how many times have you wanted to show your photos? Well, you can show them to people on your TV by turning on AirPlay. But as I said, both pieces of equipment need to be compatible. So that's what that is. So if you don't have it or don't want it, it's fine. It doesn't need to be used.
What's a good wireless ear?
What's that?
What's a good brand? You said it's non-Apple.
Oh, I just go to Amazon and get the cheapest one. We go through these a lot. So
I just lost mine last week. So
I just use the $20 version. I hate to pay for a ton more. But I'm never going to recommend brands because my brand is always whatever cheapest I can find, except for when I buy my iPhones or my iMacs, which you can never get any cheaper than what they are. But I'm not very good at telling you, oh, the Bose say is better than the whatever, yeah, if you spend hundreds of dollars, I would hope it's better, but I can't even begin to speak to that. Yeah. So anyway, notice here you have CarPlay for those of you who drive. This is actually pretty important. Like, see, it's looking for a car, it can't find one. If you don't have a car that has it, we're in this room, it's not possible, it won't do it. But if it's on, then when you get into your car, your phone rings, then your car picks it up, right? So it's things like that. So you need to decide if you want that kind of stuff or not. If you really, really don't want it, then you can just turn it off. Here, it's that little thing going round and round. It's looking for a car. Available cars, nothing's happening. If I go walk into my car, well, guess what? If it's an old car, nothing will be happening. If it's a new car, it'll connect to your car because new cars do that. And then you can listen to your audiobook. I listen to audiobooks. I listen to books. So I don't have time to sit and read a lot, but I love reading. So my default is audiobooks. And so I'll be walking for exercise, or I'll be vacuuming, and I'll have my headsets on, listening to a story. If you're in your car and you have a long commute, you might want to connect to your, and I'm saying newer car, probably at this point, even a 20, even a 2000 car probably does it, I don't know. So not so new, cars have been doing this for a while.
I try to walk 3 miles a day.
Yeah.
Then I use it.
Me too, yeah, anyway. So anyway, that's what all these things are. All of these AirDrop, AirPlays, all that kind of stuff. Now, AirDrop, we're gonna find, I will be teaching you about AirDrop, okay? And this one is maybe a bit more important. Click on AirDrop at the very top. And again, where am I? I'm in Settings, General, okay? Settings, General. And remember, any changes you make to your phone, try to make to your iPad, and anything you make to your iPad, try to make to your phone, unless you're very clear that you want different things on them. Because otherwise you'll be like, why is it working this way here and I'm not? And usually it's because on one you have it set to no, and on one you have to set it yes, and you go, my phone doesn't. Just, yeah. I know, Barb, I know, it's intense.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to get all of it.
I know. So anyway, my point is, if you own 2 or 3 handheld devices, I recommend not trying to have the iPod on working one way and the iPhone on the other way, because then it gets even more confusing. When you change the settings in one, change the same setting on the other, so that you just know that things work one way, because that can really, I mean, if you think it's confusing, you know, like you can keep track of these things when you on top of them have them differently, then it's even worse. AirDrop we're going to see on the Mac as well. And what AirDrop is, means that you can share things between phones, and they have to be iPhones, not Androids or anything else. In this case, it's only an iPhone thing, and or an iPad or a Mac computer. So it's Apple, not meaning it's not an iPhone, it's an Apple device thing. Where if you have AirDrop, then say that Radine wants to give me some photos that she took of, for some reason, of her grandkids. And you're meeting me for lunch and like, oh, I want those photos, and you want to give me things. Instead of emailing them or texting them or all that kind of stuff, you can just AirDrop them, where instantly the photos go from her phone to mine. So it's instant. It's much faster than all the other ways of transferring. So if she turns on her AirDrop, I turn on AirDrop, and we can send things to each other, which is really cool if we know each other and we're friends. It's not cool if your AirDrop is on and anyone around you that happens to be in that same restaurant is able to find you. So in AirDrop, I recommend putting contacts only, so that only people who are in your contacts can AirDrop you, right? If you have everyone and say you're in here in class, right? And you put AirDrop on for everyone. Then when I open my AirDrop, I'll see Rod's phone appears, Media's phone appears, Radine's phone appears, and we can all AirDrop stuff to each other, which if we're okay and we gave each other permission, that's fine. But otherwise, anyone in the room, I mean, you would have to say, okay, it's not like it happens automatically. But I'll get a little, Rod wants to send you something, okay, and I'll say, okay, and I might get stuff that I might not notice to say okay or not. I might say okay, and suddenly someone who happens to be in that restaurant has sent me something, and it's like, I don't want that. So ideally, by having it set to contacts only, then it's someone I know. So then in this room, if we all open up our AirPlay, we know each other, but not enough to get stuff that's not, you know, but imagine in a restaurant where you really don't know anyone, then you won't be able to even get asked, do you want to receive something from Mark or, you know, Mary, right? So because they're not on your contacts. That
That's
said,
why they're having problems on airplanes with people sending photos to everyone.
if you have everybody on, then you would have to still agree. It's not that invasive. You would still have to say, okay. So you still have to not say, okay, right? You don't
Right,
just,
yeah.
something doesn't just pop into your phone. You get asked, Mark wants to send you something, and you have to say, don't allow or allow, right? So you still have some responsibility in that. Now, if that's truly happening to everyone, that might be that everyone got hacked. I don't know, but no, for the most part, people say yes to stupid things, and then stupid things happen. But the other day I was wondering, how can so many people get viruses? It's very easy on a PC to get a virus, but on a Mac, it's not that easy to get a virus, but you still can. Just gotta be very careful what you say yes to. So just be careful with that. So this is one of those, okay? Now, receiving off would mean you don't accept AirDrop at all. And so no one, even the people who are trying to AirDrop you, will be able to get through. So I would recommend contacts only. And then the question is, do you have contacts in your phone? Are you using the contacts app? Because that contacts refers to your contacts app. So maybe I email all the time with Radine, but I never put her in my contacts. You won't be able to use AirPlay. I need to put her in my contacts, okay? So it's truly an app that I'll be teaching you how to use next class. And so you need to have people officially in your contacts for that contacts only to work. So sometimes I am in a situation where I want someone to send me something here at work. And so then I'll go over here to AirDrop. I'll say everybody, then we find each other, we send each other what we need, and then I switch it back to contacts only. So that's like the safe space to leave it for 99% of my life. But I don't want to put the tech support guy on my contact, but he needs to send me something. Well, I switch it at that point, sends me something, and then off we go. Okay, so now let me show you on your computer what that is all about. And I got to share my screen again. So here's my desktop. And so now I'm going to close a bunch of other stuff that I had open just to make it easier. And here is my Finder window. Remember that I opened at the beginning, a Finder window. So here at the top, there's AirDrop. This is what I was just talking to you about. So AirDrop lets you send files wirelessly to people around you, but you need to be on Wi-Fi. So that's something you need to mention. It works through Wi-Fi. So if you're not connected to Wi-Fi and you're at a park, right, and you want to use AirDrop, I have been able to use AirDrop without Wi-Fi, but then everyone has to be on the same phone system. Yeah, for the most part, it always works as long as you're on Wi-Fi. And then everyone's on the same Wi-Fi, then you can use AirDrop. So these computers, the ones that we're sitting on, are not on Wi-Fi right now. We're not on Wi-Fi, we're connected by cable. So it won't work if we're not on Wi-Fi. But if you want to, if not, then I would, if I turn Wi-Fi on here, then I would see over here, Maria, Radine, Rob, as long as everyone had their everyone turned on, I would see little names here. And I'd go, oh, I want to send this file from here. I'll select it and I will send it to Radine and I'll put it in here and boom, Radine would get a request. Hey, do you want to receive the file? And she'd go, yeah. And it would go. So the thing is, it's really fast. So like I want to send 100 photos to my mom when I was leaving her. I'm from Argentina. Some of you don't know, but I'm from Argentina. I went to visit my mom. I wanted to leave her 150 photos. Can you imagine emailing 150 photos? You would have, or put them on a drive, sending them to your computer. I just went, Mom, open up AirDrop, boom, 150 photos, instant. That's how instant AirDrop works. So when you want it, it's really cool. When you don't want it,
Well, but she was visiting you.
I was visiting her. I was in Argentina. Never mind. We were visiting each other. Yeah, you have to be in the same, you have to be it's not like you're at home and I'm here. Yes, you have to be in the same room, in the same network, in the same Wi-Fi space. And then I can instantly send you 150 photos. Okay, it works really fast. So when you want it, it's awesome. But be careful because you can receive a lot of junk if you don't have it in the good setting. So in this case, if I were to, so here, what's missing is that the Wi-Fi isn't on these computers. On my other computer, on this one, I am on Wi-Fi. So let me share this other computer with you. This is my laptop that I'm about. Oh, I'm not on my, I disconnected. Oh, I know, because my power went off. So let me join this class for a second with my laptop. I need to say, okay. Are you guys seeing? Stay co-host. Hold on. Okay, so no, you guys are not seeing my screen. So let me. Let me try again. Am I showing up? Let me share my screen one more time.
Look up Mary's iPhone showing.
Okay. Hold on, it's just that my,
It's gone.
I just needed to give my system preferences a change. Okay. So hold on, this computer is not set up to share in this room. All right. Sorry, it's just that my laptop wasn't set up yet to share its screen, but now it is. So now I'm sharing with you guys my AirDrop that is working, and here it is. See, I could see Mary's phone and my work phone and my personal phone all pop in. So I could go ahead and ask Mary now, do you want this thing over there, Maria? Right? So this is someone who's in my classroom right now. And I could just say, Mary, can I share this with you? And she can say yes or no, and I can send her a file. Okay. Not that they'll be able to. So now here it just says iPhone, and I can't tell who it is. So one of you guys has an iPhone that doesn't have a name, and that just appeared. Like you didn't name your phone, right? So say that I want to send you, and I'm going to go over here and send you. Do I have anything under here? Better not squash soup, so I'm going to AirDrop it. Go to AirDrop. I can't. I don't think I can share the second screen. Window. I need to share the other window. So I'm going to click on Mary's phone. I don't, you can't see me though, because I'm set on contacts only. So if you can't see me, that's not going to work. So I need to change that. I'm going to change that to everyone. So Mary, I should be showing up.
There you are.
There I am now. Okay. So now I can try to send you a screenshot, which is this picture. Okay, so I'm going to change my share now so you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm going to share these two windows. Oh,
Maybe
it's not letting me do desktop
to the photo here.
and Finder. Hold on. Here. Okay. So now I'm going to send this little kitty photograph to someone that's in my AirDrop, right? So I'm going to go to this little share icon. Just watch, what time is it? Just watch this, but I'm not going to have you guys test it because you probably don't have anyone nearby to do it. But later when you have someone nearby, you can test it. So I'm going to go to this little share icon. Wait, I need to select what I'm going to share. So I'm going to share there. This is even smaller. I'm going to share this little button. This is the file I'm going to share, which is just a tiny little start button screenshot. I'm going to click over here and I'm going to share it by AirDrop. So this is how I can share it by email or by messages or by AirDrop. I can do many things with this photo. I'm going to share it by AirDrop. And so when I share by AirDrop, it's going to say, who do you want to share it for? And see, here's Mary. I'm going to click Mary. And so now it's waiting. And now Mary is, did you just get a little, hey, Deanna wants to share this with you? She did. And so she said yes. So now it says sent. But had she said no, it would just sit there saying, waiting, waiting, waiting. So now she just got.
Yeah.
She's you guys can't see it. Come here.
Oh,
For the people who are on screen. So Mary had to say yes. It didn't just show up. But see, this is Mary's phone. And now on Mary's phone, she got that little button that the little icon of start that I it's a photo that I got that was she just got it and it went there perfectly, easy and quick. So I'm going to say done. That's how it works, but you need to have this connected. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and switch that back to contacts only. So now she can't see me anymore. right? Because I switched that to contacts only and I don't have her in my contacts. Does that make sense, you guys? So that's how AirDrop works, and it's really useful. You guys practice it with when someone who has this is an Apple device thing. So another person who has an iPhone or an iPad or something like that comes within your realm and you guys connect to Wi-Fi, try to send them something by AirDrop.
You can send me, what else you can send me, just photos or?
Any file, anything that I have, anything that's on my computer, I can send you.
But you have
So-
to be in the vicinity.
You have to be in the same network, so maybe she's in another room, but we're both on the same Wi-Fi, right? Then it'll appear, but for the most part, there's an area within which it says nearby. So maybe from the garden here, but if she's in the main office, that's too far. So that's why if you're in a restaurant, you're near a lot of people. In a classroom, we're near a lot of people. But if you're already out, I don't know, 50 feet away, it won't pick you up. It's gotta be nearby.
I got it from my next door neighbor,
Yeah, but it's nearby. All right,
unintentional.
any questions? Yeah. Anyone? Yeah, because if I'm in my house and I click on AirDrop, I'll see anyone here whose phone is set to everyone, right? So if you at your house have your phone set to everyone, your neighbor, if they turn on their iPhone, they would see Paul's phone, Jim's phone. And they can say, hey, can I send you this? And you got a request. My stiff didn't just pop in her phone. She had to say yes. So there's two involved in this situation, right? So it's not like I can just send her stuff, but you might not notice and you go, what's this? And you might say, okay. And then something pops up, which might be appropriate because you want it or inappropriate because you didn't want it. So be careful with that. That's all. Any questions in the house for that? For this, test it when you get near someone who has another device that you trust. Okay.
You can test it also with your iPhone.
Yeah, but, oh, yeah, it's true. You could send something from your iPhone to your computer or from your iPhone to your laptop, to your iPad or your iPad to your computer. I guess you can test it yourself. You can test yourself that way. That's
I
true.
use it for pictures that I email to myself and then I put it on another device. It's not.
Yeah. So if you're in a laptop, get any file that you have. I haven't really shown you yet how to find your files, but get any file that you have. And you would have to go to this little icon there, or you can right click and say share. That's another way, right? And then it asks you how share by AirDrop. That's something you can do. Let me just change my screen though now. And how do you share things from your phone or from your hold on. How would you share something from a phone? In a phone, it is a bit more restricted to photos because you don't always have access to your files, right? So hold on. Zoom share, here it comes. So if you're in a phone, what kind of things will you share? For the most part, you might share photos. There is a way to get to files. I don't know how many of you guys have settings in the files, but you can share that. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my photos. In the end, it all does get shared the same way. You select any photo. So I'm going to select a photo here. Anything, this photo of these glasses, and then see that same icon, the up arrow, the box with the up arrow is always the share. So then you click on that and then it'll say, how do you want to share? By AirDrop. Then I could send her from this phone to that phone. See, there is Mary again. Or in this case, it's offering my MacBook because I'm open to myself, right? If you go to AirDrop and nothing's there, or I could message her, I can mail, or I can note. So that's always how to share something. So right now I'm going to go ahead and say AirDrop. And can you bring your phone here so we can show? I'm going to AirDrop you this photo and then I'm going to put it on the camera so you guys can see how it's going to appear for her. Go ahead and put your,
Or I can show my camera and some.
that's
In my.
true. Show it on. So you guys find in the cameras, find Maria. There she is. Okay, here's her phone. Do you see her showing her phone right now near the camera?
Yeah.
Those of you who are home, she's showing her phone. So I'm about to say, other people, I'm going to share this with Mary. It says waiting and you should, there it is. See how on her phone, she just got a little AirDrop. And it says, what does aceptar, or it's in
Aceptar,
Spanish,
it's in
aceptar or no. So it may accept or not, or deny, right? And so she's gonna say accept, and boom, there you go. She got that photo. She has that photo now on her phone. Okay? That's a photo that she got because I just airdropped it to her from my phone. I don't know if you saw in the little window of Maria Stamene, but that was me sending something to her that quickly. Okay. All right. So yes, you can do it. Someone mentioned it. You're right. You can do it between your own computer and your phone and your computer and stuff like that. So that's what AirDrop is all about. All right. So as you can see, there's just so much inside of the settings that we can go into. I'm just trying to show you some of the main ones or the dangerous ones. And in this case, the dangerous ones are the ones where you leave your phone open to stuff that you don't want. So that's why I'm showing you AirDrop. If you never use it, that's fine. But I just want to make sure that that setting gets changed to contacts only, so that you don't get even receive stuff from people that you don't want to receive stuff. All right.
Just a couple months ago, I'm doing driving on and off automatically
Mhm.
on my phone if I'm driving.
Yeah, the newer OS, when you updated to the newest OS, have you guys noticed that you maybe haven't noticed because that's good because you're driving and you're not looking. But if you're driving and you try to text, you'll get some or pick up your phone will go, no, you can't do this until you stop driving. Because the phone can tell that you're moving and that you're driving. So it goes,
That's so
you're driving.
cool.
So your phone is locked. Of course, you can't overwrite it. So someone who does want to text can say, no, I'm not driving, and then start texting. So it's not foolproof because you can overwrite it. But for people who don't overwrite it, it's pretty cool. And if you want to, you can have it tell people, I'm not answering because I'm driving. You know, you can have it set to announce to people that you're driving. That way they don't,
Is that in the eights
what's that?
and the Model 8 has that? Maybe later.
Yeah, it's about the OS, not about the model in that case. So it's the new OS. So you should have it. Yeah.
Should have it.
But maybe you don't have it turned on automatically in your case. I don't know. I know that my real phone, my regular phone, yeah, the other day I stopped at a light and I had received a text. So I was just trying to answer back, which I know you shouldn't, but it was a light, but my phone was like, you're driving. I'm like, oh, darn it. But yeah, so that was that. Okay, guys, let me show you one last thing. Class, we have 10 more minutes of class. So I will, on the one hand, I want to show you something else that's new. That's not that's new, but that I want you guys to have turned on. And then if you have any questions, this is a good time to ask me. But I want to show you up here, if you have a laptop and you know you'll never be in a position to receive anything by AirDrop, for example, right? On your laptop, then why have AirDrop here on this bar? So this is also this stuff you can get rid of also. Anything that's under favorites is just quick access to important stuff. So if you think you use AirDrop a lot, there it is. But if you don't think you use AirDrop a lot, do you really need AirDrop there? No. So you can also do, and I don't recommend doing this right now until you decide if you're going to AirDrop, but you can grab AirDrop and drag it out like this, kind of like we did with the dock, and see when it gets an X, you let go. I'm not going to let go so it comes back, just because I need to have these things available to teach. But that would be a way to say, no, I'm not going to AirDrop with my laptop. Not that AirDrop won't work, just that it won't be quick and easy to get from here. And that's how you would get rid of it. I want us to look at this Finder window, and I can see that there's a hand there for a second, Paul. Give me a second. I want everyone to go to this window. So how do I get to this window again? You go down to the Finder and you turn this on, and the little Finder half blue, half white face, you click on that one time, and then you get a window that lets us look into the computer. And then I want you guys to turn some things on. Now, some of you have already taken my class, so you have these on already, in which case that's fine. But if you're new to my class, so anyone that I'm seeing online, I'm seeing Jeanette, I'm seeing Josie, Mary, how do you pronounce Effling?
Correct is Ifling, but Offling's fine. Thank you.
Effling. What's it? Where is it from originally?
Germany.
Germany, yeah. Effling. Okay. So you three are new to my online courses, so you've never done this. The rest of you guys probably have done it, but in case you haven't, make sure. I need you to open a Finder window, and this is crucial. I need you guys to turn on some features. And those of you who are here in class, also do that. Open a Finder window. Are you gonna be sitting there in the picture? Wherever you want to sit in a chair that's comfortable, I can hardly sit still. Did you try that one? That's supposed to be better to share. That's supposed to be the better. That one. The black one. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I'm helping out here in person for a second. All right, so I want you guys to look at this Finder window and notice that down at the bottom, if you've never turned these on, there's nothing. There's like nothing. This ends, right? It just ends. And by the way, here on the left side, click on applications, because this will be better. Just click on applications, because then there'll be something in here. And then it ends. And if you roll up or down your mouse button or whatever, you might be able to scroll up and down, but it just ends. All right. So I need you guys to go up to the View tab right there. View. Okay. And by the way, if you already see some stuff here, then you don't need to do anything. That means you've already turned them on in the past in some other class of mine. But if you don't have anything, if it looks just like that, then go to the View tab and then say Show Path Bar. Show Path Bar. So everyone go up here to your View tabs. Okay, and say Show Path Bar. It's just so tiny that you're not seeing anything. And you don't even have your. Oh, you already have, you did turn on your show path bar, so that's good. So when you say show path bar and you click on that, you should now get a path bar. See how now you see something. So if you already see that path bar, don't say show path bar. Everyone go up again then to view and now say show status bar. Show status bar. Keep that on. And now you have two things that you see here. You see this thing and that thing. And that is what we need. Two like long boxes there. I'll teach you why and what these are next class, but I want them turned on. Okay. Now,
I don't have that.
So then go to view. And by the way, a giveaway that you do have it on or off, if you go to view and instead of show, it says hide, that means that it's showing. So don't click on hide. Hide would hide it and it disappears again. See? So you want to keep it on, click on show, and what it should say now, it should say hide. It should say the opposite, right? So I want to show the path bar so that it's good. And if I go back now, it should say hide, and that's fine. This is what I want. We're going to be really using these a lot forever. So once you turn them on, they're on forever. That's what I'm saying. If you already turned them on, they're already on for you.
Yeah.
You want to do this and keep them on forever. Now, let me just check in with Mary, Jeanette, and Josie. Jeanette, I know that you're having issues with operating your stuff, so I'm not going to question if you got it or not. Mary, did you get that?
Yeah.
Everyone here in class, did you get that? And then Josie, did you get that?
Yes.
Cool. So the rest of you, I don't know, Jim, if you've done that in your computer before. Not sure if Jim, if you've been in a class where I had you guys turn these things on. Anyway, I want to yes if you have the path bar and the status bar turned on. They look something like this. Okay, if you have that, give me a yes. Paul and Barbara have been waiting with some questions for a while. So Paul, what's your question? Your sound is off. Your sound is still off. There we go.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay, going back to the AirDrop discussion, when you AirDrop something from your cell phone, your iPhone to your Mac,
Yeah.
if you AirDrop a photo, does it go into Photos?
No, I just airdropped the photo because it was the easiest thing. If you do it to each other, to yourself, photos wouldn't work because if your cloud is already working, not it wouldn't work, but you already have that photo. So don't airdrop photos. From your Mac, airdrop yourself a file. Go find a file, your taxes, whatever. It can be anything any file that's on your computer can be airdropped, not just.
But if I have a photo on my phone that I
Yes.
don't have on my computer.
Oh,
does it
yeah,
go
you
to
can airdrop. That's true because you don't have your Photos app turned on from the past. I remember. So
Right,
yeah,
right.
you can airdrop them that way. Mhm.
And it will be put in the Photos app. Is that where it will go?
No, it airdrops, I believe, into your downloads. Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, well, I'll look around. Okay.
I don't
Let
know.
me see,
Maybe it does. Maybe it does go into your photo. If you airdrop from your Photos app into your Photos app, it probably does go into your photos. Where did my photo go into your photo?
In my computer.
Yeah, in your phone. What do I sent you? Where did it
No,
go?
they go.
Maybe the download.
Show me your phone. I'll tell you in a second when I check
Okay,
Maria's
thank you,
phone.
thank you.
Oh,
I don't know where it
Yeah,
landed.
just send me in my phone.
Yeah, it went into her
Yeah,
Photos
oh,
app because it was a photo
Okay,
from a
thank
Photos
you.
app to Photos app. So that's an answer. Thank you.
There we go. Thank you. No, thank
Question.
you.
I didn't know the answer to that.
Thank you.
Barbara, you had a question?
I wasn't showing them, but I had to change to, okay, let's see. I had to change to, oh dear, what did I do? I had to change something up at the top to like list or something.
Okay, the view list. Yeah, so let me just show you one more thing. Let me move this over again. I wanted to have the students share. So there's a couple more things that I want you to see, but up here under the view, you had to say show tab bar, show path bar and show status bar. These were the two that I want you to show. Now, there's one more thing I want you to see, which is up here, all these little icons are just little icons and nothing else. But I find it much easier if you guys can see a word that tells you what these things are. So let me show you how to do that. You can put your mouse here on this finder, any neutral part, right click and say icon and text, and then it'll show you view, group, action, back and forward, and that might make you understand these things a little bit better. And if you don't want that, you just say icon only again. Okay, so this here changes what you see up on the finder window. I'm going to right click and say icon and text. That way it's easier for me to teach you what to click on. Okay, so everyone do that here too, you guys in person, right click. And right now, if it says icon or if it says text only, then you only get the text, and that's kind of weird. Icon only is the default, which shows you only icons. Right click, icon and text, then you will see icons and the text, and that seems to be the best solution when you're learning what these icons are all about. Okay. Now, did you get your tab and your status bar, path and status bar there, Barbara?
Okay, when it says show, it's showing, and when it says hide, it's hiding it.
Nope, it's like a command. If you say show, it begins to show, and so your command turns into hide. So now when you are seeing it, it should say hide. So if it says hide, you're good.
It says show status bar, so I want to click on it. So
I want to click on it. See,
then it
mine is
shows hide.
showing right now. Mine is showing right now. So if I go back to it, now it gives me the opposite. Oh, you don't want to see it. You want to hide it. So the command hide would hide it. If I say hide path bar, it disappears. And now I'll go, oh, but I wanted to show it. So I go back. Now it says show. See, it just switches what it says based on if it's already showing or hiding. So it's a command. If you say show, it'll show.
I
Showing, it says hide. Does that make sense? It's kinda
I
like-
just clicked on show tab bar, and then everything in view and the drop down grayed out, and I don't know how to get back out of it.
You can show tab bar too. I'm not going to use it yet.
Well, I clicked on it and then everything's grayed out in that drop down menu.
the tab bar wouldn't have grayed things out.
Well, it did.
Well, then undo it.
I don't know how.
Go back to view and click on it again for it to
It's
not.
great. It's grayed out.
Okay, then you need to,
Exit tab
okay,
over.
so watch, Barbara.
I got it. I got it.
You don't have the box selected. Remember last week I told you guys when these things are not turned on, it's not like alive, it's not active. So if you go to view, everything's gray now. Why? Because my window is not active. So I need to click on the window for it to be active, for these to be active as well. Does that make sense? So if you click on the desktop, you're not in that window and you try to say view, everything is gray. Okay?
That's what happened, but I got it back.
Yeah. All right.
I'm
So
not sure
it's
how, but I did.
12:15. It's 12:15 and it passed 12:15. So again, I keep having this whole like doing the in-person whatever is taking up a bit more time in my brain. So I'm sorry again. I promise you not to be late, and here we are 4 minutes late.
I
So
don't know how
I
you do it.
apologize. I am really at the point, I should have said officially, if you need to go, go 5 minutes ago. And then now I'm just answering miscellaneous questions, which I say I do. So yes, please go. Class is over. I'm only answering questions now, so there's nothing new. I'll see you
Thank you,
on
Deanna.
Thursday.
You're the
Bye,
best.
Leon. Bye, everyone.
Let's just
and-
see you on Wednesday.
And anyone who needs some hands-on help, remember, you can just come here to class, room number 3 at the Wake Center. If so, try to be here early at first so I can set you up. Because the first time you need to set up and whatnot, get your pipeline and all that.
How
Okay.
ear-
thank
How
you.
early,
And- What's that?
how early would you want me there?
Oh, no, I mean, don't be late because in the middle of the class, it's harder to help you, but no, 9 is fine or 5 to 9. I never hear much earlier than 5 to 9. So if you're here earlier than that, you'll be sitting outside waiting, just so you know. I'm not an early arriver to anything. I'm not normally late. If I'm ever clicking in late, is because, some technical issue. I'm usually, right on time, but never early. All right.
That's room 3?
Room 3. Yeah. So Julie, your hand is up.
Yeah, I just have a quick question that I had wanted to ask, The other day, I
Okay,
had a.
hold on then. Okay, guys, just so you know, 1 second, before you go, did you sign in to that sheet of paper? And you didn't sign in, but can you put your name, like write it all out and then sign in? And then I'll have you in the roster officially next time. And then on your way out, please leave your name tags here, don't take them. And then the last thing is, you got to sign out of your computers before you leave. So give me 1 second, you guys, while I help people sign
Any
out.
homework?
What's that?
Any homework?
No, and if I think of any in particular, I'll write to you guys. But right now, I just want to make sure that you know how to sign out to your computer. So go up to the top Apple. Did you already sign out of here? Okay, good. And then you can say sign out at the bottom, but very, 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 very bottom, log out or something like that. It says log out. The last space. Go down, just 2 more.
Oh, log out.
Log out. Yeah. And then that logs out of your account. That's the main thing. All right. And then just make sure to take all your belongings. That's all. And then if you want to keep listening or asking questions, hang out. Otherwise, I'll see you on Thursday.
And I found the chair.
That one works. Okay, leave it tucked in there. Let's take this one to wherever you put that one. Go and then hopefully it stays. And here, I don't have a, well, remember which one it is. These used to have numbers, which they don't, but you're right next to Rod. And yeah.
I don't want to shut this off.
Oh, can you show her since I just showed you?
Sure.
That way. All right. Yes, Julie, what's your question?
The other night, when I had my computer on, I had a little pop-up on the screen and I wrote down what it said because it wouldn't go away unless I clicked the X.
Okay.
Malwarebytes agent, security advisor. You have unresolved security actions. Click to improve your protection. Well, I did a Google search. I think that's an ad.
Yeah. Yeah. What app were you on? Were you in like Safari or Chrome? Were you online or?
I had just opened up my computer. and I
Okay.
might have been doing emails or whatever, but it's
Yeah,
just
so
staying
the
on my
fact that
screen.
if you were not online and that appeared, it might be that some malware got installed on your computer. And so it might be that it's already got installed.
It's so nice. It's like.
Otherwise, yes, it's an ad. It's trying to get you to download and don't. It's not a good one. So I recommend, so do you want to share your screen and I can see if it looks like it is already installed on your computer or not?
Yeah, I don't want to keep you. I didn't realize. Okay.
Okay, I can check. I can show you how to check really quickly.
It says you cannot start the
Yeah,
screen
because
share.
I'm sharing my, so hold on, stop
Oh,
my
okay.
share. I forget, usually I try to say goodbye without sharing, but I've got so many screens and people going on that I forget to disconnect before. So go ahead and share your screen. Bye, guys. Nice to meet you, Radine.
Oh, I'm not going to have. one question.
Oh, okay. All right.
Get rid of it.
So here you go. So now, do a search up in the spotlight. First of all, go to the spotlight and write malware. There it is. Oof, that's not good. Well, unless you purchased it, that does mean that you do have it set up. Okay, so go
I
click on,
haven't bought anything. No.
well, no, but malware doesn't, meaning it's an app that if you didn't ask for it and it's still there, it means that it's self-installed at some point. At some point, and unbeknownst to your consciousness, but you might have just said yes at another time that this got asked to you. You did
Uh-oh.
install it, so malware bytes self-install. I'm Googling, I don't think it self-installs everywhere. I'm just Googling it for a second.
Yeah, because I thought I Googled it and one
Mm,
said, yeah, you
safety
should get it.
detective
Yeah.
says Malware works free of virus. It does seem to not be a problem from the just really quick. It's a safe antivirus. I would have to research it a little bit more because the first stuff that come up can be, there's some YouTubes. I'll look into it. You do have it installed on your computer just because it shows that there is an app. Like go into your applications now and go and see at the level of M to see if you have it. Yeah, click on applications. And now scroll.
Yeah.
There it is. So even if you didn't, on September 21st of 2022, you added it. See, there it says September 21, 2022. It's date added. So you added it. It's
not willingly.
Wait, Google, no, but at some point you probably said yes. It's sometimes these, anyway. Everything I'm Googling right now seems to say it's safe, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. Basically, what it did is it's launching itself and telling you you have something that's dangerous. I did have a version of Malware Bytes that I bought that to be trusted. Everything here is saying that it is safe, but it's a company, Safety Detective, that it's safe. So I want to spend a bit more time, but for the most part, the general review, it's a scanner with a paid anti-malware suite. If there is a virus in your computer, it'll ask you for, yeah. So basically it checks to see if there's viruses. And if you do have viruses and it does a basic scan. If you do have viruses and it wants to help you delete them, then you have to go for the paid version. So it's just doing a basic scan. So if it said you had something, what was the message again? It said what? You read me your message again? Did it say it wants to run a scan or did it say it discovered something?
No, it just says Malware Bytes Agent Security Advisor. You have unresolved security actions. Click to improve your protection.
Okay, well, maybe what it means is you don't have like your security features updated. You know what we said? Have you updated lately your OS for security issues and stuff like that?
I think it's automatic. Remind me how to do it. Oh.
Well, you would go up to the app. That's what we did. Watch last class where we talked about updating and security features. And if not, just hang on, don't do anything to that right now. I'll look up and to make sure that it's good. And if it seems it was good, you can say yes to it, but I'm gonna research it a bit more. Okay? Can you send me a quick email saying, research malware bytes or something like that, and
Okay.
write the message that you had in me, and then I'll look into it.
Okay. Thank you,
All right,
Deanna.
You're welcome.
See
Mary,
you.
you had a question? Hold on, because I have a question here, but Mary had been waiting a bit earlier. Yeah.
Thank you. Just quickly, that last step where we added the names under the, back forward view, group action, search.
Oh,
How
yeah.
did we add the names?
So go right click on, it has to be a Finder window that's already there.
Okay,
Choose some empty space, like between those two, when there's nothing, and do a right click. And then you can choose icon and text.
okay. I'm right clicking and I'm not getting it. Okay.
Are you in this toolbar? Are you in a window under, are you in the same space I am in?
Yes.
Otherwise, okay, so then, do you know how to share your screen? Have you shared your screen before?
Yep,
Go ahead and share your screen and I'll see. Okay, so now go up there and do a
Okay.
right click.
Go and I right click.
Okay, but is your right click active? Have you activated your right click yet
Yes.
for other stuff?
Yes. Yeah, I use it.
Okay, so then, plan C. No, because there are different ways, over there at the far right. Hold on. There's those three little dots and a little arrow.
Yep.
Click on that, and at the bottom, let me see, is that show view options? No. Okay, no. Custom, you don't have a customized toolbar, huh? Where else can you get to it?
I can Google it. I was quickly.
Okay,
and
so then go up to view.
Yep.
And down to customize toolbar, which is there, that one. Click on that one. There you go. And so here you can go to show at the bottom icon only,
Okay. Oh,
or
icon and text. And then
say
done. Cool. There it
There
is.
we go. Now, I don't know.
You're a
try to
miracle
right-click
worker.
again. Right, go up there and say right click again to see if it now. How weird. And go right click on the desktop and see if you get go to the desktop on nothing and right click. See, your right click is not active. That's what's happening. Go to your system preferences. You're not right clicking yet. So go to your system
Oh,
preferences.
sorry.
open it up,
Okay.
And then go to, what are you, on a mouse or on a trackpad?
I'm on a mouse.
Okay, go click on your mouse, and then, yeah, the secondary click has to be turned on.
Oh, thank you.
There you go, that's your right click. You were just
Okay.
not having it work. Now you can close that and go and see, now you can do a right click and you'll see that it'll work. Go up there to that spot, click on it first.
Ah,
There it is.
okay.
It
Thank
doesn't
you
even
again.
activate your right click.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right,
Have a
bye
great day.
guys.
Bye.
See you in person, Jeanette, next week.
Thank you.
Next class. Bye.
Bye-bye.